told me now sit beside me, my only son, and listen closely to what I say. And if you do this, it'll help you some sunny day. Oh yeah. Well, take your time, don't live too fast. Troubles will come, yeah, and they will pay. Find a woman, baby, and you'll find love. And don't forget some, there is some above. And baby, be a simple kind of man, and be something you love and understand. And baby, be a simple kind of man. Won't you do this for me, son, if you can? Get your love for the rich man's gold.
Yo, what's up, guys? We should be live now. Just playing some tunes to let people join up, and then we'll start talking about everything. So, hope you guys are having a good evening. Hope you guys have had a great day so far.
All that I want for you, my son, is to be satisfied. And baby, be a simple kind of man, and be something you love and understand. And baby, be a simple kind of man. Won't you do it for me, son, if you can? Boy, don't you worry, you'll find yourself. Follow your heart, yeah, and nothing there you can do.
Alrighty. Let me just get the chat up in front of me. Just give me a quick sound test, guys. Just make sure you guys can hear me. Everything looks fine. You guys can see everything that's on the screen. Share the link as always, and we'll just start diving right into the conversation, into the discussion, and I'll address. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not booming this one. I think I got this one all right. I'll bump myself up just a little bit. Sound test failed. We can't hear you. Yeah, man. Well, let's not talk about your stream, DA. Ah, man. Oh, okay. Tell him I said hi. All right, so I'm sure people will start joining as the stream progresses. So I'll give you guys a quick disclaimer. I'm not here to entirely talk about Gothic Sushi today. Her name may be referenced a couple times. Again, I've covered it on my previous stream. I've covered it on a couple of other streams that I've been on as of lately, mainly on DA Talks' channel. And I think it first started off with me hammering, I believe, Fantasy Saw for the most part, and then that kind of transitioned into Sushi and her crew. So I don't really have a hit list or anything like that. It's just funny how, more or less, it's usually the same people that end up being involved in some shape or form in terms of bullshit within this alleged movement, this so-called movement. So Today we're here to talk about this crow. And I guess again the disclaimer is, well, Emish, why are you giving Crow any attention, right? Why are you making a video, or why are you hosting a live stream talking about it? Well, one, because he won't join a voice chat. You know, he won't jump in a voice chat. I think within the span of maybe 4, 5, 6 months, I must have offered at least, again, each and every single time I've had a run-in with this crew, must have offered them to jump in voice chat quite a few times. And, you know, it's an easy dodge, right? They'd much rather tweet, talk on Discord, stuff like that. I don't really have anything personal against him. I just think his arguments are really bad, trash, and some of the most dishonest arguments I've ever seen in my life. Probably one of the worst opponents I've ever had, one of the worst opponents I've faced. I think sometimes people are too focused on having gotchas, and the only people that realize the gotcha are their friends, right? Like, no one outside of the actual circle kind of believes the argument that this guy puts forward, right? And we're going to talk about a couple of those things today, mainly of my experience with him over the course of the past week. For the most part, it stems from him obviously speaking up for Sushi, because Sushi, you know, talks a big game, likes to trash people, lie on people, and then she has, you know, her simp crew kind of fight her battles for her because she's incapable of processing basic information, basic English. She can't formulate an argument of her own because she doesn't believe anything that comes out of her mouth, right? How can you actually defend yourself if you don't honestly believe whatever it is you're saying? You know? So why am I addressing this guy? Well, on top of him having bad arguments, I think there's this idea that anyone who has influence in anything shouldn't pay attention to people who are like randoms. And this is just, you know, I try to treat everybody equally, right? I don't look at, for example, let's just say if I have influence in a particular field, but then I have someone who's, you know, who tends to pop his or her head up with stupid arguments, right? And they try to assert them, like they try to grandstand them and assert them in a way to where it's just completely moronic. You know, you have two options, obviously. Most people would tell me or tell you to say, hey, don't pay mind to them, right? Don't give them the platform. Ignore them, blah, 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 blah. And it's because I like to treat people equally that I like to address these kinds of things. So since he won't jump in chat, since he won't jump in a voice chat with me, since no one in that crew will jump in a voice chat with me, I've offered all of them. I've actually said it, me versus your whole squad. He won't do it for whatever reason. I could only assume because he's full of shit, right? And I know I said I have nothing personal against him. I just hate dishonest people, and I don't like when people misrepresent me, right? I don't like when, I especially don't like when people say that I said things that I didn't say. I don't like, to me, if anything, to me, if I did take anything personal, that would be the only thing that I take personal, right? Because to me, it's more of a challenge. And, you know, I guess people more or less kind of know me for this whole, like, debate me kind of thing, as far as like Stand With Vic and Kick Vic is concerned. And it's not so much so about just debating, right? It's more so just about, hey, you have an opinion, or fine, you have an opinion, but you're trying to assert that opinion as a fact, and then you're being completely dishonest in the way you formulate those arguments. And he tried to have like he had a pathetic attempt at a gotcha. And it's a real shame, because last year when I spoke to him and his crew, they seemed like okay people. And I think for the most part, generally, when you first have conversations with people, they say first impression counts. And for the most part, most first impressions that you have of people, most first encounters that you have with people, especially if you're on the quote-unquote same side, they tend to be good experiences, right? So because of that, you end up saying, well, I thought they were good people, but it turns out they're just piles of garbage. So you may see me referencing them as pieces of trash a lot, only because you can tell a lot about a person when they're completely dishonest to your face and they know better, right? They know better than that. So I guess we should probably just jump into it, huh? Again, like I said, hopefully you guys are having a great evening. Let me just turn live chat on, actually. Get that stuff out the way, right? Yeah, it's not just straw manning, though, right? Reconnect. It's not just strawman. It's just flat out lying and dishonesty. You don't really believe anything that you're saying. So what's Crow's main argument? Nothing really. We're gonna address it though. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about that. I don't expect, like I said, I'm not doing this video for clicks or for views or anything. Like I said, this video is demonetized. I don't really gain anything out of it. It's just simply for my own enjoyment, for my own personal enjoyment, for lack of a better term, right? So this is how this stuff started. After I was done with Fantasy Soft, I've seen Sushi say a lot of stupid things. A lot of her stupidity finds its way on my timeline because, again, we're on the quote-unquote same side, and because of that means that I'm just supposed to keep my mouth shut. But they kind of learned that the hard way. We can see that this was around the time, that Umbrella guy kind of put out a tweet talking about how when DA talks his unfortunate timeline of Tug, or that Umbrella guy got taken down. Both of the videos were flagged. Both of them. First, it started with one, and then shortly after that, his first and second videos did get flagged down. Multiple times at that, so he had to resort to re-uploading them a bunch of times. A bunch of other people had to archive the videos and re-upload them again, and naturally, he claims no responsibility for it, right? And then naturally, again, these two people, they're in the same clique, they're in the same exact clique, they always, whenever you look at drama within this kind of stuff, it's always the people that talk about wanting to avoid drama that find themselves involved in it the most, right? And it just makes it that much easier to really call them out and, have fun with them and smack them around a little bit, right? So Gothic Sushi, this is her hot take. This is how this stuff kind of started. The best part about these gay ops is that their brains are too small to think, oh, hey, I'm harassing someone who is well-known with a following that has helped a ton of people. Making insults and harassing them might get their followers pissed off to report me. And the problem with this kind of talk, you guys have known by now, I've been hammering her for the past couple days, right? DA as well, but I've been hammering a lot of people over the course of the past week. And you can notice a change in their tone versus how they were a week ago compared to how they are now. Sushi does not talk like, she still says stupid shit, right? But she doesn't talk like this anymore. It's kind of dimmed down a little bit. You don't really see too much of that anymore. Now she's just, back to her normal stupid self, right? And, the unfortunate part about this is that she's obviously leeched on to people like Tug, for example, in hopes that they would come running to her aid and rescue, right? But when that doesn't happen, she obviously runs to Discord, she ats everyone, she gets the crew together, and the only one willing to formulate, or at least attempt at formulating some kind of defense for her is Andy, or Crow. Crow of Judgment, Destroyer of Careers, and I use that term very, very loosely. I don't really think he lives up to that. If anything, it's more self-destructive than it is destructive, right? It's more self-destructive of the career, of social media career, if anything. So we're going to get into this stuff a little bit shortly, but just to give you guys some kind of context, if anything. And so this is how it started, right? You look at this, and it's obvious. She's been known. She had the Heroes of Letters. When they were flagging people down left and right, she had no issue with it. She was totally for it, right? So the irony in her kind of suggesting this, that, hey, well, we have a lot of followers. You're going to get our followers really mad and they're going to flag you. Teehee. It's disgusting because it suggests that she supports this kind of behavior, right? It's not suggestive that this is common sense. Now, obviously, every fandom has that. I am going to acknowledge that right here and now, that every fandom has its fair share of toxic people, of butthurt virgins that just jump on the internet and they resort to troll tactics to kind of silence people who are on the opposition. And that's totally normal. But it's an interesting take coming from her. Let's fight cancel culture by engaging in cancel culture. Well, yeah, I mean, to some extent, you fight fire with fire. It's not, I'm not attempting to cancel her, I'm not calling conventions. She only has, pull in maybe one little crew of people that I have absolutely no interest in, So, yeah, John Kelly, I mean, to an extent, sure. But it's not me, trying to cancel her or anything. It's more so, hey, here's my argument, and it's just in good, clean fun, if anything. It's fun for me, not so much for them. They foam at the mouth when I talk about this shit. So that's that. That reminds me of when Flash and Tug started promoting gatekeeping comics from SJWs. Yeah, that was an interesting saga as well. But again, so yeah, this is the context. It's an interesting hot take. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I gotcha. Just clarifying. I think some people seeing you in chat will automatically assume that, oh, he's here to kind of get a gotcha on me. That you're here to get a gotcha on me, right? But just to clarify, that's what I was clarifying, to add on to your point, not so much to like go against you, right? So that's that. But yeah, so this is her hot take. Naturally, that was for me. I mean, she has a plethora of tweets that you can nitpick on, right? You can just pick one. You can put all of it in a hat, and literally anything that comes out of that hat is a hot take. And I chose to pick this one. And this is what I said. The irony, and I tagged her, of course, because I was already blocked at the time. Again, she has no backbone. She's a spineless coward. She blocks me for no reason whatsoever, just simply because she just thinks I'm shady. She admits I've covered it on the stream already. F in chat, right? F in chat. Let's talk about Gothic Sushi. It's on the channel already. But long story short, she blocked me because she felt I was shady, even though she admits to never having a conversation with me, or never being close with me, or not really knowing anything about me to kind of justify, right, that kind of assessment. But it's her viewpoint of me, which is fine. But she has kind of asserted to a lot of people, mainly Kiwis, for example, the same Kiwis who she's requested services of looking into people that she does not like. So this is what kind of sets a red flag for me personally, right? Because I know she doesn't like me. It's fine, right? Nothing personal, I suppose. But with her track record, with the things that have come to light as of late, you have to ask yourself, well, gee, I mean, I would more than likely be on that list. God forbid I say anything, right? But fortunately for me and for everybody else, the Kiwis kind of found out that she's full of shit. She lies. She doesn't really provide any, like a smidgen of evidence to back up her claims. So, I say, irony, Gothic Sushi talks small brains, for obvious reasons, right? This is not only obvious. So basically what I'm saying is that everything she's saying here is obvious, but she's making it seem like it's come on, guys, wake up. Like she's saying something that warrants some kind of intelligence or train of thought, but it's obvious, right? And if anything, it's a potential admission. Again, it's projection. And I have seen you suggest for Kiwi Farms. I have seen you suggest people for Kiwi Farms to look into, right? So now I'm making a claim because I know it to be true. I know this to be true. I know this to be a fact. I know she's going to deny it. I know she's going to take the bait. And I'm not being dishonest in this. This is the truth, because she always does. Remember, at the time, I'm already blocked, right? But again, I know she's going to take this. I know she's going to see this and say, what a fucking liar. He's clout chasing. He's a drama whore. He's shady, blah, 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 blah. I knew this. And this is just something she isn't good at. And I also knew that her simps would jump into, right? I knew guys like Flash and Tug wouldn't jump in because they have zero interest in anything that she has to offer. She has zero to offer. There is no monetary value. Her friendship is not worth anything, and because all she really brings to the table is a headache, right? And nobody really wants to deal with that. Sure, she might be fun to say hey and bye to, right, and just fuck around with and chat. But I mean, I've never had that experience. But that's pretty much where. That's the line. That's the limit, right? So, and there are a ton of things that aren't inherently your business, and yet you find a way to make a business out of it. Now I don't mean make it her business. I literally mean it the way I said it. She finds a way to make a business out of it, right? And what I mean by this is the stuff that it's been covered over the course of the last 2 to 4 days, roughly. Which is her lying about people to kind of weasel her way into movements and make some kind of profit off of it. I'm in no way, shape, or form. I cannot judge or decide, what she deems to be profitable, right? I can't make that decision for her. If she thinks attention is profitable for her, fine. Maybe it's money, maybe it's recognition, maybe it's sympathy. All of these things warrant some kind of positive gain for her, some kind of positive profit for her, and that's ultimately the main point here, right? So again, just want to kind of give you guys that kind of clarification before we even jump into Crow. Now, with that out of the way, we can go here into my secret server, right? Thumbnail, courtesy of I forgot who gave this to me. I forgot. Well, whoever did make it, thank you. There is that. So my opening argument, and I kind of want to stress this a lot. I really want to put a lot of emphasis on this, is that Crow he's someone who likes to cover politics, not like, not like a news outlet or anything, right? But he does have a habit of clowning the left, kind of talking about the left, Democrats for the most part. Not to say that he doesn't clown the right or anything like that, but he has a habit of doing this specifically, right? So I'll pull up the tweet on the screen, and again, I chose this specific snippet here. Comrade Bernie, everybody, clown, and I chose this specifically because it's a good way of kind of making it easy for you guys to understand the kind of person that I'm dealing with here and the kind of person that we're about to kind of discuss here, right? And the general idea is that he clowns the left, but he argues like them. He clowns Democrats, but he argues like a Democrat. And oftentimes you'll find that it's not to suggest that, one side of the aisle is completely telling the truth all the time. No. What you'll find most of the time is that Democrats and the left, they try to kind of drag in other irrelevant points or irrelevant subjects into an argument to make it seem like they actually have an argument or something to talk about. And that's mainly because they're not very good at addressing the main point here. They're not very good at addressing the main question, the main argument, the biggest points of the opposition. They're just not good at that. So they kind of resort to spinning and kind of talking about things that are irrelevant, and they deflect and they dodge and they weave. They're just not very good at thinking on their feet. We've seen this time and time again. So I kind of want to make that argument here to where, again, he clowns Democrats, but he argues like them. And essentially, my issue with him is that obviously here he inserts himself. He inserts himself in a fashion that kind of, he's obviously defending Sushi. He makes a lot of accusations about me, and then kind of spins that to kind of deter anybody who may be watching or anybody who may be reading on what we're talking about, to kind of deter the attention away from Sushi, to suggest that, well, hey, if Emish is resorting to talking to Dominique Sky, then that means, wow, he's really pathetic, or he's really sunk this low because he doesn't really have dirt on Sushi, or because whatever, right? And if that doesn't work, they start suggesting, well, hey, Emish, didn't you spend a year telling us how dishonest and how much of a liar Dominique Sky is? And yes, I did. I spent a year telling people how dishonest Dominique Sky is and how much she lied about a specific event, which was KamehaCon, and specifically her experiences with me. I didn't say that she's a flat-out dishonest person all the time, because that's just not fair. And if anybody actually believes that, then they need to get their heads evaluated immediately, because that's just no way to live your life at all, right? You can obviously give people the benefit of the doubt, and obviously based on your experiences with people, you can obviously automatically assume that, hey, let me take what this person is saying with a grain of salt. But you should do that anyway, especially when you're talking to figureheads on the internet. Anybody with any kind of following, you should automatically assume that kind of, state of thought immediately. You should never take what anybody says at face value. You have to kind of say, okay, why is this person saying such and such? Which is why I'm kind of a big believer in context. I'm a context kind of guy. I like to kind of read between the lines, and I tend to overthink things as well, which is, I guess, a good or bad habit. But again, that's a kind of a topic for another time. So I have everything here that I kind of want to cover. It may look like it's a lot, but it really isn't. I think, to give you guys some kind of backstory, I did hop on their channel a year ago when this Stand With Vic stuff kind of started early on, and they interviewed me. This is around May, roughly, and May is when I decided to quit covering the Vic Mignogna situation, right, the drama surrounding it, because there was a lot of infighting happening at the time, a lot of it revolving around me specifically. I had issues with YouTubers being dishonest. These are people that I was supposed to be working with, people that I thought not were my friends or anything like that, not by any means, but for the most part, people that, the public are counting on to kind of relay information that is accurate, right? Let's see what you guys are saying in chat. Okay, all right. Nothing really crazy going on. Cool. I don't want you guys to feel like I'm, not paying attention to you guys. But so yeah, so that's the point there, right? They're kind of relying on us to be as accurate as possible, to tell the truth, right? And at the time, obviously, again, to give you guys some kind of backstory real quick, There was a disagreement made about the GoFundMe being under attack, that and Vic Mignogna's mom being under attack specifically. There's a lot of things that were being reported on at the time, because at that specific time, the GoFundMe was currently at $146,000. Nick Rekieta had just got suspended off of Twitter for the first time, right? I think it was a temporary suspension or whatever. And, Tug wanted to shop the idea, verbatim he says this, Tug wanted to shop the idea that the GoFundMe was under attack because Nick Rekieta is suspended. So that way, it would get people to it would rile people up again, and it would get them to donate more money to the GoFundMe. I disagreed because it was dishonest and disingenuous. I didn't think it was wise or smart to keep people angry and to make them even angrier, right? To say, hey, if you really want us to burn these people down, donate to that GoFundMe. Well, no, you're not going to burn down anyway because you have nothing to do with the lawsuit. You actually haven't done much, right? All you guys do is just report on tweets, right? You make videos off of tweets, and that's the truth. It's not me being a dick to you. It's the stone cold truth. Very few of them are actually out there in the trenches trying to get this guy to actual conventions, trying to get this, put some money in his pocket, trying to actually network, right? And it's not to suggest that they shouldn't network. It's not to suggest that they shouldn't, that they don't deserve some kind of compensation for the amount of time and effort that they're putting into this movement to kind of, get the word out. But again, if we can rack up $146,000 telling the truth, why should we start lying now? It wasn't Nick's idea. It was Tug's idea specifically. I disagreed with it. It was in a group chat. Nick wasn't there at the time, but all the other YouTubers were there at the time, right? So the prominent figureheads, at least, me, Flash, Tug, and Hero Hay specifically. I disagreed. I didn't like the idea. Told him it wasn't a good idea. He still went and did it anyway. And then what happens is that he got other people to report the same thing. So naturally, I disagreed, right? And what that happened was that started creating a sense of division. And I specifically told them that my issue with this is that because I'm not going to report on it, and naturally people will ask me what my thoughts are. And when they ask me what my thoughts are, I'm going to say it's bullshit. And what that does is it creates division and it creates infighting. Who do I listen to? Tug said this, Emish said that, Hero said this, Flash said that. Who do I listen to? So they're looking to us to report the truth and to be as accurate as possible. That's why I felt like it was probably better that we, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I wanted that to kind of be the case. So again, I did an interview with Crow and his crew on his channel, and I made those things clear. We're actually going to go over it here because I think it's very important that you guys listen to the stuff that I say here, right? I'm going to timestamp it at 9:55. I want you guys to understand this because as of lately, Crow has tried to suggest that I told him that Flash was shady, and I've never really had anything bad to say about Flash. Obviously, for the most part, he has been very, very, very honest about what his intentions are, and I respect him for it, right? I can actually look him in the face and say, yeah, I have no issue with what you did. By all means, you want money? Go ahead and get it, right? But he's honest about it. You know what I'm saying? He's not inherently lying about it. He's had some questionable moments in the past, but I never flamed him for it because generally, for the most part, he was straightforward with what he wanted to do with, when it came to covering the Vic stuff, it's more than I can say for the others, for the most part. So what we're going to do is, it was me, subscribe. Gotham Knight, Yellowflash not honest. He's honest, again, I'm saying he's honest about what his intentions are when it came to covering the Vic Mignogna situation. Yes, he is. He has said it multiple times that this thing is a gold mine, right? That he's going to monetize rent from it, so on and so forth, because why not? Fuck it. People like it, he's going to monetize it. He's been, for the most part, pretty straightforward when it comes to that specifically, and because of that, I don't have any direct issues with him, right? Anything else after that, it's really none of my business, don't care. But when it comes down to reporting information, right, for the most part, he hasn't really gone out of his way to say, hey, well, Vic's mom is under direct attack and all this other junk, things like that. So let's just jump into this interview real quick. And I assure you guys, it's not boring. The reason I want you guys to listen to this, it's not the whole interview. We're gonna start at the 9-minute and 55-second mark, right? And we're gonna go up to like maybe 15, 16 minutes. The reason I want you guys to listen to this is because I'm trying to really emphasize that I have not changed at all, right? That the way I view things now are the same. It's the same way I viewed it a year ago, and As of lately, the main point is that Crow's argument when it came to me hammering Sushi about Fantasy Soft, for example, because Fantasy Soft did in fact sponsor her show with money that was not his. All right, that money is supposed to go towards, again, the project for the most part and paying artists. Nita did not get paid. She was asked to wait an additional month because apparently he had expenses at the convention, right? And those expenses, and again, it's dishonest, right? Those expenses were for the most part him sponsoring the convention. So again, I'm under the impression that yes, he did in fact use money from donations and from donators to sponsor a shit show for the most part, and nothing really came of it. And the reason I tie that to Sushi is because Sushi likes to go on Twitter and to go on to other people and flex as to how much of a professional she is, how she gets people booked and all this other junk, right? She gets people that she likes booked. She gets people booked at cons. And that is half true. She's not a professional. No actual professional will allow a one-man company who has done jack shit in 10 years and over a decade, who has done nothing in over a decade, to sponsor their show. What that tells me is that show had very, very light backing, if not limited backing, if no backing whatsoever. There was zero credibility in that show, which is why they tried so hard to get Vic there. Right? Same thing for Chuck Huber, so on and so forth. Right? Chuck Huber didn't need the show. Chuck Huber's fine. But you bring Vic, guess what? You get to go back on Twitter, you get to go into social circles and suggest, hey, I helped Vic Mignogna. And now what happens is that people, it makes it difficult for people, sheep primarily, to see through that facade. Because now Vic, coming to her show, becomes a shield for any shape or form of criticism that she may or may not receive in the future. Right? In addition to her leeching off of Nick, leeching off of Tug, and leeching off of Flash for the most part. So let's get to this argument. Let's get to this argument here, because Crow's argument was mainly that Sushi didn't know about Fantasy Soft being the snakes that I recently exposed them to be, right? And shout outs to non-trans on the Kiwi farms, because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have made the intention or the effort to look into Fantasy Soft. So shout outs to him. And his argument was that, well, Sushi thought that they were good people at the time, and that now I'm trying to suggest some sort of illicit behavior, that I'm trying to suggest that she was complacent in scamming fans out of their money, right? When I never suggested anything remotely close to that. I actually say at least 3 to 4 times that it's not her fault that Fantasy Soft is full of shit, but it just goes to show that she's an idiot, that she should not be flexing the way that she does on Twitter, and for the most part, she is no professional by any means. No professional will ever allow someone like that to sponsor their show. All right, so let's go to this interview real quick, and then we'll jump into everything that's transpired over the last few days, because I apparently Cross tried to suggest that he's working on an exposed video, right? That they seem fun. It's been a while since he's done an exposed video. Here's the tweet. Right? I've never done an actual exposed video. Usually just parody stuff way back. Looking forward to it. And whether or not this is a nothing burger is not the point. The point is that he wouldn't even jump in a chat with me. Right? And here he is suggesting to people that he's going to expose to people, and he pulled in a massive 6 likes. So good job there, buddy. Right? Good job. So let's jump into that interview. I kind of, again, want to substantiate, want to build a lot of emphasis on the fact that my mindset, for the most part, has not changed, and that I was very open. This is a public video. I was very open about my feelings about Tug and Hero and everybody else within the movement. I was very, very, very open about this. So let's jump right into the timeline real quick. Let's see, 9:55. Help get him to KamehamehaCon, help get him to other cons as well, especially channels and mindsets and viewpoints. Okay, so hopefully you guys are ready. All right, we're going to see it for a couple minutes. And let's just play this stuff over here. Hopefully you guys can hear it clearly. All right, just let me know in chat. That, aligned with conservative viewpoints. Yep. And just where most of my viewpoints tend to line up. Yeah, I wouldn't consider politics at all. Definitely fitness, probably doing the same channel. I'm pretty sure it would work. Like I said, Dragon Ball and fitness just goes hand in hand. A lot of people who like to work out think of guys like Broly and Goku and Vegeta and like Roshi even.
Now, I know you already spoke on it a little bit, but if you could further articulate some of the drama, the cause of maybe why you wanted to dip out. Was it just something you didn't want in your life at this point in time? And another part of the question would be, do you just see the movement going to a place that you weren't comfortable with yourself?
As far as me seeing the movement going in a place that I deem is uncomfortable, well, one, it would have to be uncomfortable for me. 2, It's not really my position to police or tell people what they should or shouldn't do. I can simply advise, hey, you might want to reconsider this. Hey, you might want to reconsider that. Um, and that doesn't come from me policing. It doesn't come from me being like a, some have labeled me a purist, for example, whatever that means. I had somebody label me a purist simply because I prioritize facts over legitimately everything, which I thought is what we were founded on.
Agreed.
Agreed.
And the
I
issue,
still don't understand the purist label at all.
neither do I. I don't understand. I mean, I hate being wrong.
No, I was going to say, I think that's why when that whole thing happened with Ghost Shell Z, I know that some people were saying, like, you shouldn't go and say things to him. And I'm like, no, I think Emish is doing the right thing
so
here. But
let's talk about Ghost, because I've been fairly
Yeah.
diplomatic, I would say, and respectful, I would say, and
Absolutely.
easygoing, I would say.
Absolutely.
And more so than I am with other people when I call them out. I would imagine to people who know me, the way I operate on Twitter, for example, the way I operate in voice chats or whatever. If I call you out, I call you out, right? And they're basically saying that I was harder on Ghost than I was on Shane, right?
What?
to
You
imply,
were building him up in the same tweet.
yeah, right. So I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that they're saying that I'm not saying that they're saying this, but to guys, to clarify, this is an interview that I did with Crow, BPM, and Origami, his crew. Okay, so again, I'm trying to tell you that I want to build an argument based off of this to show that my mindset about Stand With Vic and how I view this kind of movement and all this other trash that's been happening as of lately has not changed. I've remained consistent since I started covering this stuff, which was in February. This interview was recorded May of last year. Okay, just to clarify again. So we're gonna keep going. To say that I was too hard on Ghost when I've gone at people like Rye, for example, who are, most people would deem to be a nobody, but you constantly see her head pop up every now and then. I've gone at people like Shane. I've gone at people like Amanda Winley. I've gone at Mars Girl. I've gone at all these people. Everybody save Ren, because Ren doesn't really have a position. It's just a hashtag that she hijacked. And if I can tell people to leave Dominique Sky alone, this idea that I was too hard on Ghost Show doesn't make sense to me. If I can tell people to stay away from Ren, for example, this idea that I was too hard on Ghost Show doesn't make sense to me. I think people have this idea that I'm supposed to just blindly be okay and privately DM people and say, "Hey, man, you might want to reconsider that tweet," as if I have that time to do that. You make a public tweet. I should be able to simply and respectfully disagree. I start off my response by saying, "I appreciate everything you do," and then I tell you why I disagree. And the next thing I know, I'm a cancer within the Stand With Vic community. First of all, I mean, go fuck yourself. It's really that simple. Two, I mean, the floor is always open. We can talk about that in a voice chat if you want. But for the most part, people I offer, platforms to speak on, they don't want to do it. I know Hero Hay covered it on a stream. I knew nothing about that stream. I was told that he's streaming and he's talking about my tweets and the stuff with Ghost Shell. I jump onto the stream. Everybody's like, "Hey, man, I was going to DM you in the morning, and hey, how's it going, man? I hope you're okay." And I'm not trying to like slight the guy or anything, but I mean, you could have mentioned it. And he said, "Hey, man, and to be fair, he did say that I hope I'm not making things worse for you and stuff like that." I was like, "No, I mean, it's fine. I don't give a shit. Like, if you want to stream, talk about my tweets, by all means, go ahead. They're public tweets. But if I'm going to give these people the same courtesy, I should be given the same, and I should be given the same as well." But as far as Ghost Shell, I think people blew it out of proportion. I think once that stream went live, people blew it out of proportion. I saw Tug write a certain response to that specific thread that I also didn't appreciate. I talked to Hero privately. He also suggested maybe I should have gone in the DMs and talked about it privately. I'm like, talk about what? You guys blew this up. I didn't make it a big deal up until you guys blew it up. And then once the victim card was played, then I had an issue with it. When people misrepresent what I'm saying, I have an issue with that. Because, well, I'm taking 30 seconds of my life to tweet whatever, and then you retweet it and completely misrepresent me as if to send people my way to simply say, "Emish, what's wrong with you?" As if I haven't been doing the same exact thing I've been doing since day one. Whatever reason you have for doing that, that's your business. And that has nothing to do with you claiming that I'm a cancer within a movement. It's these things don't correlate. And I don't like when people do that, when they throw their traumatic experiences, when they throw their feelings in my face, when this whole thing was founded on facts over everything, and your feelings don't apply because we have to look at things rationally.
It reminds me of the people that are on the right and they say you don't punch right, and you're on the left, you don't punch left.
Right.
you're basically you're allowing bad actors to engage in your community, and all that's going to do is
That's Crow speaking, by the way. Right? So, again, take note of what I said and what they're agreeing with me on. Right? It's funny. Now that we're on opposite sides, this methodology, this state of mind, this thinking, obviously, right? When it comes to, when it comes to actually being consistent with the way you approach things, I haven't changed. It's the same thing. Right? So we're going to keep going.
promote more bad behavior. That's why I said I really respected your take on the whole ghost shell thing. I don't think that you were too harsh. I had no clue about all the other drama going on behind it.
So, in case anybody missed it, what had happened is Ghost Shell Zen posted a tweet saying, warning, and it was basically saying the GoFundMe for Vic Mignogna was under attack. And Emotions Live responded with, he responded very courteously, actually. It was not rude whatsoever. He said, I appreciate all the work you've done. And if I'm mistaken, please correct me, Emosh. But please, provide proof. Without proof, I'm not really going to believe it. And then from my take of it, Ghost Shell posted either a sarcastic tweet or like an attempt to basically start like a little hate mob against Emosh, saying like, oh, well, sorry for all my lies, and I hope Monica and Funimation win, etc., etc. And it blew up from there, as Emosh stated. It did blow up from there, way out of proportion.
Right, but the follow-up tweet to that was to quote what I said and then label me as some kind of cancer within the movement. That means things have been being said for X amount of time. I can't dive into it. I do know what was said, and I do know what has been being said for X amount of time around the time of KamehameCon announcements, for example, prior to the actual convention itself. But during the time Nick was covering the KamehameCon events and I was helping him cover it as well, certain things were being said by respectable, high-ranked people within this fandom, and I know about it, and that's why I started getting a little and it's not even me being snippy. It's just me, I disagree with you, and I'm seeing that it's because I disagree with people that I'm supposed to blindly follow, I guess, that all of a sudden, well, Emish is a cancer. Well, that's fine. Fuck you, debate me. It's that simple. It's, there's nothing complicated about that. I'm not going to change that.
We're all individuals. We're all going to have our own way of thinking about something. We're not a hive mind of people.
Oh, of course, but it's not a think. It's not me thinking this, right? It's not an opinion that I'm having. That's the difference, and I think that's what bothers people sometimes. That whenever I speak, it's because I know, and that's why the challenge is there. If you don't think I know something, take the offer, okay? Jump in a voice chat. And if you want to monetize people, you can monetize me because they have a position to uphold. And, it's for me, it's just like, I don't care about that. I've never cared about it. That's why I don't upload every single day or every 5 minutes talking about the same thing over and over again. And it's, like I said, I respect the hustle and I respect the work that these guys have put into it. And they know this, but don't get upset when I disagree with you. If I disagree with you and I tell you why, and then you start tweeting things and you start subtweeting, and then when I see them and I respond and I ask, okay, let's talk about it, and you don't answer, it just gets to a point where it's just like, all right, there's the division. A simple disagreement is what created a division, and that's not something I'm cool with, and that's why I pulled out. I don't have time for that.
I'd gladly debate you. I'm just waiting for something
sure.
on it.
Sure.
Unfortunately, we all kind of agree with like half the time.
You guys listening?
Well,
you better
I think
believe everything controversial that's blown up around Emish, I was one of the people in his DMs. You better believe it. So if you have a problem with what he said, I was there DMing him to say it.
Well, he was in my DMs, but not telling me to say what to say, just more so showing support.
Yeah, trying to get you to talk about it because
I know.
You have a much larger voice than I do, especially back then. You had a much larger voice.
To go back also, Broly, I know you remember this one extremely well. The accusation of Monica kicking a fan from Pensacola. And I believe Broly and I had conversations about it, and I believe Emosh spoke up. I think he caught a lot of heat for that as well.
Oh yeah.
I don't recall.
He was playing both sides.
Yes. That is true. I was getting some heat for. And stop playing both sides, getting annoying.
Really? That got debunked immediately, though.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
it blew up. It blew up out of proportion, and Emosh was telling everyone to calm down. And everyone was kind of flaming him for it, and BP and I were trying to retweet his stuff.
You can take this conversation we're having as, oh, Emish has an ego. Take it however you want. Even I get to flex I should be able to flex every now and then, considering how quiet I am. So, and I think that's why you guys brought me here. It's to have an entertaining conversation. right? So it's like, if
Yeah,
I feel like
straight.
flexing every now and then, hey, this is going to be the time for me to do it because nobody else wants to flex openly. So might as well kick back and just,
Do it on a small
No,
channel.
yeah, yeah.
hey, I'm
Bro,
trying.
we gotta get the channel. We gotta get this channel, bumping up somehow. So, all right. So yeah, I think that's enough, right? I think we can more or less agree. I think I've established my main point here, right? Is that I haven't changed at all. Haven't really changed at all. I've called people out within this movement before. We'll continue to do so, right? Just because it's fun. COVID-19 is happening, and I'm not trying to stir up drama. Has nothing to do with drama. If I have receipts, if I can actually provide an argument, it's not stirring up drama. I know people like to think it is. I know people like to think that maybe they have something that I want. No. All I want to be able to do is to be able to defend myself, right? And if I can do that and you can't, as far as I'm concerned, I have something you want, as far as I'm concerned, right? So with that out of the way, and with me kind of showing, kind of starting up this with this stuff with some backstory, and how I'm kind of claiming that Crow likes to argue like a Democrat, because he's completely dishonest. We've covered this part already, right? And it's let's open up this tweet here. Let's open up this tweet over here, right? We can start here for now. And you know what I should do? I should zoom in a little bit, maybe. Right, this might be better for you guys. Right, this might be a little better for you guys if I zoom in. One, because I'm blind and I can read better this way. But yeah, so this guy called out. He tagged some people, primarily Sushi and Crow. I had enough of this crap. If you think you are part of I Stand with Vic and is immune to criticism, then you are dead wrong. Stop stirring shit up with fake drama, and then play the victim card when you get called out on your bullshit. You hear me, right? Stand with Vic. Yeah, you tell him. And this was off of a quote of this. Now, this is kind of a big deal, right? I want to go to this real quick because this tweet here, DA Talks is in the chat actually. He made kind of like a meme about this. He accused me. He says I'm, putting forward a lot of accusations and insinuations with not much substance, right? And then he was like, "Well, what does that remind me of?" So he was quoting off of me. But the actual audio of this tweet is taken from a live stream that he did when he was covering the Fantasy Soft stuff. And in here, Crow makes a lot of accusations and insinuations, primarily insinuations, not much substance, if not any at all. Doesn't cite his sources, and he never has, right? He's making a claim in here, and it's a pretty bold claim as well. And the reason he makes this claim is because at the time, Sushi was kind of trying to hit me with a gotcha that Emish is on the farms. He's on the farms doxing people. And I responded, yeah, my username there is Spirit of Emish. I guess you got me. It's my actual name. So let's listen to what he actually says to kind of slight me primarily, because he doesn't really know anybody else on the farms except for me. And the irony of this is that Sushi's on the farms. She's been exposed as of lately to have been on the farms before me. She created her account in June of last year, right? And she requested services from people at that time. And we find out even recently, dating back to as recently, this year, right? Many months later, she's still in talks with Kiwis and accusing me of doxing people, even though she's requesting for them to look into people that she simply does not like. Right, so let's listen to what he has to say here. Let's listen to his hot take, and let's kind of showcase how exactly he argues, like the political aisle that he likes to clown against. Right, so let's play this real quick.
They're trying to book Vic because I'm going to tell you a couple things that have been happening. There are groups, fruit related, that live on a farm on the interwebs, who are going out and, to my understanding, are attacking conventions that are trying to book Vic because they're claiming that they're also using Vic's name to make money.
You guys get that? Let's play it back a second time, because I know the first time it's difficult to understand what he's saying because of how stupid it sounds. So for the people who missed it, let's just go again. Let's play it one more time.
A couple things have been happening.
Now he asserts this as a fact. These are a couple of things that have been happening. He asserts that as a fact.
A couple things have been happening. There are groups, fruit related, that live on a farm on the interwebs who are going out and, to my understanding, are attacking conventions that are trying to book Vic because they're claiming that they're also using Vic's name to make money.
Did you get that hot take? So there are groups on a farm, fruit related, who are attacking conventions, who are trying to book Vic, because now we're claiming that they're trying to make money off of Vic's name. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of a convention, you moron. You know? What is the point there? Why wouldn't I market someone's name for a con that I have that he's contractually agreed to show up to and meet fans? Why wouldn't I do that? What kind of claim, what kind of assertion is that? It's these are his words, right? I'm going to tell you what's been happening, a couple of things that have been happening. See, he asserts it as a fact. You can't assert something as a fact and then claim that you misspoke about it later on. Right? So even if you wanted to argue, well, Emish, where's the rest of it? Well, we can go to a stream, sure. Right? But in this time frame, he asserts it as a fact. These things have been happening, and then he flat out lies, no sources. You can actually pull up the farms right now, and you go... I mean, the whole Weeb Wars thread is in favor of Vic for the most part. It's in favor of... it doesn't matter as to how in favor, right? As to how they're in favor of Vic. The point is that they are in favor of Vic. That's the whole point, right? That's literally the legal defenses. One of their main arguments is that their clients have been harassed and threatened online and have been doxxed and all this other junk. That's literally one of their arguments. So to kind of suggest that now we're suddenly attacking conventions for wanting to bring Vic is absurd. Let's play it back one more time.
On the interwebs, there are groups, fruit related, that live on a farm on the interwebs, who are going out and, to my understanding, are attacking conventions that are trying to book Vic because they're claiming that they're also using Vic's name to make money.
No, you don't get to say, I'm going to tell you what's been happening, and then kind of save yourself by saying, to my understanding. So that's my point, where he argues, and he kind of, asserts things like the Democrats he likes to clown on, right? Where they try to suggest that something is true, and then they kind of leave some kind of wiggle room in there to suggest that, hey, well, I did say this, it was to my understanding at the time, right? No, you don't get to do that. He's never really been good at this, and this is likely why he won't jump in voice chat, because, all he really does is report, and reporters are never really good at thinking on their feet. I've actually made that argument to him quite a few times before recently. They're not good at thinking on their feet. He likely isn't either. And you can tell versus when he scripts for a video, because this was an actual live stream. That's him thinking on his feet. Okay, that's what you get when Crow is thinking on his feet. All right, this is exactly what happens. That's the product of Crow thinking by himself, not scripting things. And it's really pathetic, and it's unfortunate, because you don't have to be that way. You don't have to be that way. He covered the fantasy stuff, the fantasy soft stuff. Didn't want to talk about anything I covered, even though I'm the one with the information. Right? I'm the one. I'm the one who fucking hammered them. I'm the one who hammered them. And now he's talking about things that are to his understanding, which is fine. I'm not asking for credit, but it's like, dude, come on. You're much better off just going off of what I said. Right? No substance in that stream. It was like over an hour long. No substance whatsoever. Garbage. Trash. Which is why I'm such a big believer in context and making sure that you guys understand what I'm saying. I know I like to talk a lot. Maybe I like the sound of my own voice. Doesn't matter. The point is, I like to make sure that there's no wiggle room when it comes to, the future. If I say something now, I want it to be future-proof. There's no way to kind of, make that happen all the time, but I try my best. Right? But I try my best. All right? So that's that. So they get called out for this. We could probably go back to this tweet, actually, and reference the screenshots that are there in case you guys want some kind of context for the most part. But this is Sushi replying to me, right? Stop adding me in your bullshit and lies, you shady skeet. Tell the fucking truth. You are legit in the farms doxing people, and that's why I left that group. Get the fuck out of here. What's hilarious about this is that she admits to being in the same group that I'm in. The same group, the farms, right? That group. What's that group, Sushi? And Crow still has the actual audacity, right? I'd say he had the balls, but I doubt he has any. He has the actual audacity to come in and defend this pile of trash because friendship. Sure, fine, okay, I guess, right? It's an argument based off of emotion. It's an emotional response. Doesn't really hold water to anything. But she she left that group because of me, because I'm doxing. So what group? It's a group of Kiwis. Why else do you talk to Kiwis? You know? Why would Sushi talk to Kiwis? Forget me. I like to fact check and verify information. That's why I'm there. Why would Sushi do that? Well, if it, as of lately, it's been exposed, it's been showcased that, well, she's been there to kind of require their services, to kind of, inquire, right? To ask for their services, to look into people that she doesn't like. That's why she was there. She's too illiterate. She's too illiterate to read through an entire fucking 4,000 page forum, a thread of Weeb Wars. She's way too illiterate for that. She would get chewed alive over there. She would not survive, right? I think we can agree on that. Whether I'm being condescending, whether I'm being a dick to her, it's the stone cold truth. She is too illiterate to survive a 4,000 page thread on the farms. So, and that's just the truth. I think we can all agree with that. All right. And then she continues to kind of, this is where she accused Exile of having child pornography. I'm not really going to cover that. It just goes to show what kind of person she is. But again, this is the kind of person that Crow likes to defend. She makes a lot of baseless accusations, but, he likes to kind of milady, white knight her, right? And not put her in check, not put his friends in check, but just comes to blindly defend them and then misrepresent everything you're saying, which we're about to go over shortly. All right? You still got that child porn on your PC? And she's responding to him, but they actually confirmed later that she was talking to she was actually talking to Exile. So that's that. What's this over here? Yeah, I was referring to Exile. So she accused someone of having child pornography, nothing to back it up. So that's that. The funny part about this, though, is that Crow actually does respond. He actually does respond here. Let's see. Yeah, cool. I didn't stop retweeting people who make fake drama and tagging me crying about fake drama. Yeah, there's a lot of funny things happening in this thread. All right, never said I was immune to criticism. Well, no, that's true. You did not say it, but you show it and you act like it. Don't tag me in your fake drama post. It's not fake drama. It is not inherently fake drama. You're watching her sit there and call me a doxer and say that I'm on the farms doxing people and that she left the same group that I was a part of because of me. So you're watching her make that accusation and then you're at... This is exactly the kind of person that we're dealing with here, right? So let's go on to the next argument here. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. That's what I labeled it as. Never said I was immune to criticism. Same thread, right? Don't tag me in your fake drama posts. You do know anything I reply to is because I am being at in some sort of petty drama. I do not at others unless they are talking shit. Block them, just like this. I love them. I love that me talking about something in an hour live stream that I've heard from several others. Who'd you hear it from? Who'd you hear that from? It wasn't me. Definitely wasn't me. Right? Who was it? Was it Tug? Because he's not a credible source of information. Who was it? You've heard from several others. And what he's referring to is the information that he put forth in that live stream. That there are groups on a farm, fruit-related, who want to attack conventions for wanting to book Vic Mignogna because we're now claiming that they're trying to use his name for money. That's absurd. It's the same as emotional Emish adding you and going off for a few hours, but it's like they say, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Now, right? It's whether they've kind of taken shots like this at Dean for being a cokehead, right? But he was kind of directing it at me. Again, I don't care, right? This stuff is just it's like a filler punchline. You know when you hear like a rap, like when you watch like a freestyle battle or something like that, and all they do is talk about guns and how they're going to cut you. And they make fancy wordplay off of like a gun punchline or something like that. But it's not really directed towards the person you're actually battling or you're arguing against or your opposition. And it's a general fluff filler punchline that can be used anywhere, right? It can be used like universally anywhere. And that's what kind of takes away from the actual blow, from the actual feel of that punchline. So that's exactly what that is. It's completely irrelevant. But again, this is the kind of it's the kind of person that we deal with here, right? It's the kind of person that I gotta that I've actually offered to come in and jump in a voice chat and argue with me. We already went over this. Dean's gotcha on Crow. This is a big gotcha, by the way. And Crow has become sushi, right? We kind of covered this earlier, where we were talking about the Dominic Sky stuff, right? But hey, now let's go over my post. I responded to someone and I said, hey, I've heard she's lied. I'm talking about sushi. I've heard she's lied about Dominic Sky too. Now, I didn't assert this as a fact, did I? I said I've heard about it. And essentially the context here is that I want Dominic Sky to reach out to me. Because I know Sushi weaseled her way into this movement by suggesting that Dominic Sky and her crew framed her to be racist, that she received death threats and physical threats of violence from people of color, right, during the time of Kamehacon, if not at Kamehacon, because of her, right, and that she lost a lot of bookings and conventions because of Dominic Sky and her crew. So I've heard about this, and I'd like to fact check. See, so I'm careful with the way I kind of word my stuff. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, all you have to do is ask. So I've heard she's lied about Dominic Sky too. I don't know if she's still banished from Twitter, but if not, maybe shoot this her way. If she's okay with talking to me about it, I'd love to hear what she has to say. Will retweet just in case. Can't believe I'm actually doing this. Of all people, me wanting to talk to Dominic Sky. Imagine that. They think it's a gotcha. They think it's me being pathetic. They think it's me being petty. No, it's not, right? It's me simply doing what people should have been doing a long time ago, which is putting someone in their place, right? And giving people reality checks. That's what I'm good at. It's what I'm going to continue to do, all right? So Crow responds, but hey, speaking of fake drama, it's not fake. Just because you think it's fake, because you say it's fake, doesn't make it fake. Anyone in I Stand... here we go. So he invokes I Stand with Vic. So anyone in I Stand with Vic think Dominique is a reliable source? Because this looks like someone is thirsty as fuck for some fake drama, not gonna lie. No. Sushi... This is not based off of fake drama. You know this very well, you idiot. Okay? You know Sushi has came into this fandom citing and invoking Dominic Sky's name multiple times. Multiple times, and she's used that to kind of signal boost her sob story to get people to follow her. All right, and during the honeymoon phase of I Stand with Vic, people weren't really good at fact checking anything. You know, people were not good at fact checking anything, so they believed her, obviously, right? Hell, I've even offered Gothic Sushi to come on my channel and talk about her issues when she first started tagging everybody and signal boosting everybody with the hashtag, right? So there's that. But again, the main point here is that he keeps saying it's fake drama, suggesting it's fake drama when he knows it's not. Okay, let's just play that game. Let's play that game. Let's just play that game. Let's just say this is fake drama. What I'm talking about here is fake drama. That's a concession on your part to admitting that Gothic Sushi's incidents and experiences with Dominic Sky are fake drama. It's fake. Are you going to concede to that, Crow? Let me know. That's an L. I think that's one L of the evening so far. Alright, so I've handed you one L so far. It's a concession on your part. Right? You're not good at building an argument. You can start one. You can start one, but you're not good at, maintaining it. Alright? So that's one L. That is one L. Let's move on to the next one. No one asked for our side. Now, this is essentially Origami bitching about people not asking for their side. You're going to see in my tweet history that I've offered, that I've told them that I would go against their entire squad, just me versus all of them. In a voice chat, they could live stream it, they could put it on their channel, they could monetize me, I don't care. Which is why I showed you my interview. You want to monetize something, monetize me. Let's talk about it. Right? So, Exile legit ats me and says I'm a fake fucking victim. You guys have no clue what I have gone through. Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. Because you make it a habit of telling us about it. We know what you've been through, Sushi. And it takes me back to my opening tweet when we started this live stream, when I talked about Gothic Sushi not making things her business, but she makes a business out of things that don't inherently involve her or have nothing to do with her. She doesn't make it her business, but she makes a business out of it. And we talked about that, right? So we're seeing a pattern here. We're starting to see that, okay, what MS is talking about, yeah, it just makes sense, right? So you guys have no clue what I've been through. I walked away and blocked someone, and then I'm being harassed on Twitter. Get the fuck out of here. Exile has been blocked from me for months, but that's cool to start drama. Well, why'd you have to block him again? That's one. And two, you accuse him of having child pornography on his computer. I don't think people like her, with whatever influence they have in communities, I don't think they understand the amount of damage they can do to somebody and hurt someone's ability to network when they make claims like this. If she's willing to tell people that someone has child pornography on their computer without a smidge of fucking hair follicle of proof, right, of receipts of anything to back up that claim, imagine what she would say, what she would tell people about me, how would she talk about me? For example, I've been hammering her for days. What would she say about me? And we've covered that a little bit on the channel already. Crow responds, I'm more offended they didn't at Origami, who is our actual evil genius. This is just their little circle, right? Nobody really laughs at their jokes. Nobody outside of his circle really laughs at anything he has to say. Nobody's really interested in anything that they have to say. The only person who's actually shown some form of interest in anything that they've had to say is me, right? Because I'm their opposition at this point, right? They'll hammer Dean, they'll air out personal shit, embarrass the guy, and they try to use Dean's reasoning or suggest to people that Dean is mad because we forgot his birthday, and they try to tie that to me, right? To deter you guys from understanding, to deter you guys from saying, well, gee, if Emish is working with Dean and Dean is just mad about this, that means everything Emish is saying is, well, unreliable. It's not credible, right? And the reason they do that is because they don't want you to listen. If they were confident in anything that they had to say, they would jump in a voice chat with me and do it. They would host a live stream on their channel like I offered, and they would do it, right? Instead of resorting to tweeting. It's pathetic. So Origami goes to say, no point, how many times has out of context bullshit been thrown at us? No, I provide receipts. And what they're referring to now is they're talking about other people. They're not talking about me, but they're trying to lump me in with the other people who have thrown bullshit at them, who have actually thrown things at them to suggest that what I'm saying has no foundation, right? That anything that I'm saying is unreliable. There's no credibility to anything that I say. When I've made it my mission to be one of the most credible people on this side of the aisle, hands down, right? I can talk to Dominic Sky and still be credible, right? I can be cool with Sen, even though a lot of people don't like Senpai, and still be reliable, right? I can work with Dean and still be reliable, right? I'm not afraid. I can hold my own and I can think on my feet. That's more than I can say for a lot of these people, right? Remember when we got a cosplayer fired and turns out that was completely untrue and the cosplayer herself said it? I never said that. Not my claim. Not my claim. But all this is in response to me hammering them, and that's my issue with it. No one seems to go to the other side and say stop with your bullshit, just biased and one-sided. No one asks our side. Well, I've offered you. Jump in a voice chat. Let's do it. Let's go. Me versus your whole squad. I've said it multiple times. It's on the record. But they just bitch and moan on Twitter. For 3 likes, 1 likes, 3 likes, 6 likes. We can pull up her following right now, actually. We can pull up Sushi's following, like, right now. Right? We can do this, like, right now. 7,000 followers. Right? She could barely pull 15 likes. Nobody's legitimately interested in anything she has to say. My boy Hero Hey. Again, you see? All these people that I talked about a year ago, they always find a way to lump themselves together. Right? Because they think strength in numbers. They think strength in numbers, essentially. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit. International model? No. MC Hoist, voice actor? I don't know who she's voice acting for. Host of one circle of shows. Artist and tattooist. I've heard she can actually draw. It's a damn shame she won't actually work. That she won't actually do this. Right? Make a living doing this. She'd much rather just stir shit on the internet for a couple likes here and there. Variety streamer? She barely pulls in like fucking 10 people. I don't know. Entertainer? I mean, this is a form of entertainment, I suppose. Right? It's at your expense, but it is a form of entertainment, I suppose. Alright? Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's see what else we got over here. Again, this live stream will be archived on the channel. So if you guys want to, play it back for the future, hopefully it's still there. I will download it so that way it doesn't get, taken down or some bullshit like that. But yeah, this is my response to Crow's argument about reliability. Okay? All right, so we covered this tweet already, where I talked about how I heard Sushi has lied about Dominique Sky, right? Because she's lied about everything else so far, so clearly she must be lying about this. I want to fact check that. And if she's not lying about it, I'll signal boost it. I'll say, hey, Sushi was telling the truth about Dominique Sky. Dominique Sky is still a piece of shit, right? But that's not the case here. But he says this, so I said, okay, I'll help signal boost this hot take. Nothing I do is inherently about a hashtag, which is why I played that interview for you guys. It doesn't matter if I Stand With Vic thinks Dominique Sky isn't a reliable source. The point is, people within I Stand With Vic and outside of it believe your entire clique is unreliable. Bigger picture. I look at the bigger picture. That's the point, right? Recently, I got people to kind of have more faith in Emmett Plant, and not that he owes me anything. He obviously doesn't, right? But he's been hammering Fantasy Soft and a few people for quite some time. For quite some time. Right? But it takes for someone like me to actually verify that they're telling the truth for people to accept, right? To kind of get a dose, an overdose of those pills that are hard to swallow. And now, next on my list is Dominique Sky, right? Now, I obviously have a lot of issues with her, right? I don't agree with a lot of the things she says and the way the kind of cosplay community kind of handles themselves for the most part. But I can't blame her for Sushi being a trash person. It's not her fault, right? So, essentially, this is the argument. This is my response to arguments about reliability. I don't care what I Stand With Vic thinks. I don't care if they think Dominique Sky isn't reliable. The point is that they think you are unreliable, that you are not credible, and that you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Couldn't hit water if you fell off a boat. That's the point. That's the bigger picture there. All right? I don't think there was any response. I know, yeah. Also, you forget who proved said person's unreliability. Please don't tell me you forgot who's been known for that. Yours truly. And this is the truth. This is the truth. Right? So let's go on to the next. Let's go on to the next tweet. Let's go on to the next thing. The same argument yet again. Crow has a bad habit of not listening. Either that or hanging out with Sushi has ruined his ability to understand basic things. So he retweets me. Now, this is called signal boosting, right? He's really going out of his way to make sure people notice this stuff here. Really going out of his way. Let me see what happened here. Did I put the... Okay, this is just a screenshot. Okay, basic screenshot. Even bigger picture. She's accused you, by he's referring to Dominique Sky. Even bigger picture. She's accused you of dishonesty several times. So if we're going to trust her... So you see the spin? Right? Clowns the Democrats, but argues like them. That's a Hillary Clinton move. He took a place straight out of Hillary Clinton's book. Well, if we're gonna trust her, and she's called you dishonest, look at these hot takes, man. Fresh out the oven, fresh out the crow's nest. She's accused me of being dishonest about Kamei-Con. She's accused me of being dishonest about my actions towards her. That I've doxed her, that I've harassed her, and so on and so forth. Exactly, John. Exactly. Right? So, this is the kind of person that we're ultimately dealing with here. She's accused me of this. Again, an accusation is exactly just that. That's exactly all this is, and he doesn't seem to understand this. He likes to use this word a lot, right? He likes to use this word a lot, and he doesn't understand that an accusation is exactly just that. That's it, right? Sushi is accusing me of doxing people. That could potentially hurt my ability to network, right? He's saying that Dominique Sky has accused me of dishonesty, but nobody really believes that I'm dishonest, right? People don't actually believe this, right? There could be a time where I could end up being dishonest, but it's unintentional, right? But what it comes down to again is, so if we're going to trust her, well, you have to make up your mind, because you were criticizing me for actually wanting to reach out to Dominique Sky. So you can't make this argument after suggesting that I'm a loser, that you guys are laughing at the idea of me wanting to run to Dami for dirt on Sushi. No, you made that statement first, and then you follow up with this one, so you forfeit your previous argument. Immediately you forfeit it. Clowns the left, clowns the Democrats, argues like one. We're beginning to see a pattern here. All right? A cool 12 likes, 1 retweet. Good job, buddy. Right? Good job. Let's keep going. So Kayla Herder, remember Kamehacon? And I cannot believe that they're actually using this. So Kayla, Monica Rial's clone over here, puts her 2 cents in. Remember Kamehacon? Yeah, do you? I feel like that was that. See, she's replying to Crow, and she says, "Anyone remember Kamehacon? Done gif, Family Guy." Like they think that. The sad part is you can tell that they're actually in Discord talking about this. Oh my god, Amish is so stupid. Let's get him. Oh my god, he's so dumb. We can get him. Does anybody not remember Kamehacon? Yeah, I reported it. Who covered it? Me. I did that. And I did it for a year. I did that, not you. Nobody in your circle did that. That was moi, yours truly. On record. Everybody knows that. Everybody loved it when I hammered when I hammered Dominic Sky for a year. You guys loved that shit. So my response is, hot takes for days. I covered Kamehacon. The difference is I proved dishonesty about her experience at Kamehacon and about me, and I can do the same for all of you. Sushi has made some bold accusations about her with zero evidence. How sad would it be for her if Dom was being truthful? Also, the fact Sushi is now shook at the idea of me talking to Dominique shows that Dominique is likely being truthful about her. After all the shit she said about Dom, if Dom wasn't reliable, why does Sushi have to worry? Relax, guys, nothing to worry about, chin up. And this is the truth. Why are you guys so concerned? Why is Sushi now tweeting, Dominique, be careful working with Emish. He's shady, he's on the farms doxing people, blah, 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 blah. And within minutes, Dominique responds to me. She reaches out, and I appreciate it. She reaches out. She's scared. Sushi's scared. Right? Because now it's about time that this fucking train, that this fantasy world, that this fantasy soft world, oh, I went there. That this fantasy soft world that she lives in, it's about to come to an end, right? You're about to get a rude awakening or wake-up call. Right? So let's go on to the next argument. But these are the people that we're dealing with here, right? And Dominic Sky actually chimes in now. This is beauty. Right? I've said that before, and I'll say it again. I have never met this wash rag in my life. This is Sushi on Nick's stream. Clowning Dominique. Right? And at the time, that was the popular thing to do. Right? And this is the kind of person Sushi is. She'll clown the people that you don't like to deter and to distract you from looking at her. Let's play this audio back.
Is very rail. Except for her boobs. I know that Dominique is very rail. Except for her boobs. Like, you feel like if you walk up to her, she'll fall over. I used to follow her before she started attacking me because I liked her TNA. But that A is a lie.
It's a lie. Do you think she has ass implants?
Excuse me.
No, I think she wears pads or something because I've seen her in different cosplays, and she does the hip, like she dislocates her hip to get that hump.
To get the booty pop?
Yeah, because in real life that she don't have hips. She's got a nice underbun. Like, it's like she does squats or something, but she don't have, hips.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
You know what's unfortunate about this, right? And, again, people loved when I smashed on Dominique Sky for a year. But you know what's unfortunate about this is that Dominique Sky has a husband and a daughter. She has a family. It's more than we can say about Sushi. Nobody wants to actually remain in her life. That is the truth. That is the truth. So, you're in no position to talk about someone else's family, children, or their appearance. I mean, sure you can. You have the freedom to do so, right? But nobody actually wants to commit themselves to you. The only people that do that are people and strangers and a bunch of random simps on the internet. That's all. That's all you have. That is legitimately all you have to your name. Right? It's exactly why you weasel your way into fandoms. It's exactly why you weasel your way into fandoms to gain sympathy points, so that way people feel sorry for you, so that way you feel it's a temporary high. That dopamine rush, right? It's a temporary high, so you feel like people actually give a shit about you. How sad is that? How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Let's keep going. Alright, so same argument from Crow about reliability. I offered to VC his squad. Oh, here we go. We're going to read this tweet. I got to just take a piss real quick after this one, though. It's a long stream. Bro, we're laughing at the idea that you're going to run to Dami for info after she's trashed you as being unreliable and has a massive axe to grind with all of I Stand With Vic. You called Yellow Flash... here we go. It's also the beauty of why I played the interview that I did with him first. Never once claimed to have an issue with Flash. But I'll give that example once I come back from the bathroom. You called Yellow Flash Shady, remember? I do. Pep Patron remembers. Go run to Ren-sama, and if Yellow Flash thinks you're a dumbass, that's proof, right? I should go to Ren-Famis, actually, and hammer Tug some more, because you've been sucking his dick quite often lately. Testing that gag reflex of yours on Tug and Ethan Van Sciver. Or on EVS. In hopes that they notice you. Because, nobody's really interested in anything you have to say. The difference between me and your clique, your little circle, is that I can actually get people to listen to whatever it is I have to say. You know the saying, I can sell salt to a snail, right? You know that saying? But... and I don't mean it like exactly, but, I guess I could be stroking myself. But the point is, if I were to compare myself to, yeah, I'm that confident. Right? So, if Yellow Flash thinks you're a dumbass too, that's proof, right? I mean, that's subjective. You have that's up to you. If you want to believe that because Yellow Flash says I'm a dumbass, then that's proven in and of itself? No. And this is where he's being dishonest, because he knows how I operate. See, a year ago in that interview, that's why I played the interview first for you guys, he agreed with me going after Go Shell Zen and setting the fandom straight. They agreed when I told people that, hey, Monica Rial kicking a fan out of Pensacon, that sounds like bullshit to me. I got heat for that. Vic's mom is under attack. I got heat for that. GoFundMe's under attack. I got heat for that. Infighting, I got heat for that. Been consistent for a year. It's more than I can say. Can't say the same for you. You called Yellow Flash shady. It's not my vocabulary. I don't use the term shady. And we can see how Crow is little by little becoming Sushi. Right? He's actually resorting to talking like Sushi. You called Yellow Flash shady, remember? And here's the thing. My response, again, me versus your whole squad. When are you guys available? And there's the other tweet right there. Here's the thing. After that interview, when I openly said I had issues with Tug and Hero, after that interview, I went into detail as to what Tug specifically said about me, and how Hero handled his trash bullshit stream covering my tweets, and how I did not appreciate that whatsoever. That because of them, that people started fucking giving me backlash. It's the same ideology, it's the same kind of methodology and approach that Crow's using now to deter people from believing anything that I have to say, in attempts to deter people, to distract you guys from listening to anything that I have to say. Right? They want to start playing, hey, I Stand With Vic. Dominique Sky has a massive grind he has a massive axe to grind with I Stand With Vic. Look guys, Emish is talking to Dominique Sky. Get him. And yet, maybe 4 or 5 people have tried to step to me and just got smacked around instantly. They're all simps, all followers of Sushi, all followers of Crow. It's nobody inherently gives a damn. In fact, I'm actually getting more support now for calling people out on their bullshit than I ever did a year ago. I'm getting a lot more support for that. If you called Yellow Flash shady, so what if I called him shady? He associates with Tug, he's friends with Tug, he's gone on record to say it. If I told you that, which I didn't, right? All I did was give them advice. As up-and-coming YouTubers in this specific fandom, listen, I'm telling you guys this because based on my experience with Hero and Tug, this is what you're going to have to deal with as an up-and-coming YouTuber. And not just one person. That channel was run by multiple people. 3 people to be exact to my knowledge. 3 to 4. Or 3 to 4. So you guys have a choice to make. If you're going to tell the truth or be selective as to what you cover, you may make some enemies because of it. But you can take that route or you can suck dick. And here we are now. They're sucking dick. So if I tell you, hey, be careful with those guys, and I named them, hey, be careful with those guys, based on my experience with them, that's me giving you advice. I don't give a shit. I've been straight with Flash. I've told Tug to his face. I've told Hero to his face too. Don't give a shit what they think. Don't give a damn. I don't owe them anything. And I don't need them for anything. And I think that's a big misrepresentation here, is that people think that I need them for something, and I don't. And I don't. Actually, I just talked to Flash earlier this morning. And yesterday. So, I don't need them for anything. I don't need a signal boost. I don't need anything. I don't need them for shit. So, let's move on. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Just give me 1 second, and I'll be right back, guys. Alright, guys, we're back. Thanks for waiting. Let's see, because there are people that have also been consistent in keeping their opinion, not flip-flopping and waiting to have someone leading at the forefront. Exactly. And I wish more people would be like that. You know, I wish more people were like that. I'm just checking for more, if anybody else was tagging me for something. Also being honest to everybody, telling the other truth. Yeah, you know, I'm not saying I'm incapable of lying, you know? Obviously, I may lie here and there, but I have receipts to show that I'm telling the truth, at least, right? But I did wash my hands. Thank you. I did wash my hands. But yeah, so to kind of elaborate on this a little more before we end up transitioning into the next point here, into the next hot take, is that you guys heard that interview. I'm open about my issues with Tug and Hero. He knows that. He drags Flash's name into it. As a way of being dishonest about what I actually told him. Be careful. Just be careful. That's all. Just be careful. This platform is very unforgiving, and people will chew you out. And they will toss you to the wayside. Right? So that's the point. So again, clowns the left, criticizes Democrats, but he argues like one. But he argues like them. So let's keep going. Crow rants, ignoring everything that has been said so far, dodges, weaves, doesn't understand, and is dizzy from the spin. Right? So again, here we have just a massive rant. Emish answered the question. This is in follow-up to the Yellow Flash stuff. I said, debate me. Let's jump on a stream. And he's completely dodging it, wants to keep going. See, all this stuff is stuff he can say in voice chat. He can say this stuff on a stream. He can say this stuff on a video. He can say this stuff in a voice chat or a phone call. But he won't. Because he will get chewed up for it. Emish answered the question. You called Yellow Flash shady. You called Tug shady. That's not my vocabulary. You told me way back when not to trust any of them. And you still shouldn't. That is the point. But he's trying to spin it to make it seem like I'm trashing these people. Based on my experience. And you know what's unfortunate? He said this April 9th. Tug was exposed maybe 2 weeks ago. Those DMs dropped. And he's still talking like this. Look at how many dicks this guy can fit into his mouth. 1, 2. That's 2 so far. Plus Sushi's dick, so that's 3. right? So all I need is someone prominent in KickVic that hates them to also talk trash, and that means you're right, correct? Irrelevant point. You don't need anyone prominent in KickVic. I've gone after every major figurehead there. All of them. By myself. Without your help. Without anyone's help. I did that by myself. So none of this matters. It's not correct. You don't need someone in prominent KickVic. I mean, good luck getting someone prominent to notice you, first of all. Right? Other than me. Other than me. Right? You can't use me as an example. I mean, maybe you could. I suppose you could. But this is just for the sake of argument. But good luck getting someone there to actually notice you. You're too afraid to actually argue anything, right? When it comes to being in a position where you have to think for yourself or on your feet. And you're showing this. You're owning me so well on Twitter. Thank you. Thank you for the admission. You knew... Okay, and here's the spin. Now watch this, guys. Watch this, guys. Let me see what you said. Uncertainty. Hydrate or dehydrate with that coffee. Yeah. That's exactly why I'm coughing now. I gotta drink some water. Watch this spin, guys. You ready? You knew Fantasy Soft Entertainment was problematic and not on the level, but push people to invest in them? I have that tweet. Where is it? I have very few tweets of me pushing people to invest in them. And you have to define what invest means. Right? Invest can inherently mean money. Invest could also mean, hey, well, just, again, face value. Don't take what I say at face value. Right? Check them out. When I say check someone out, literally, check them out. But, dizzy from the spin. You knew Fantasy Soft was problematic and not on the level, but push people to invest in them. I have the tweet. Where is it? Put it up. Didn't put it up because either A, exposed video, or B, it's not the gotcha he thinks it is. And your girl did an interview promoting them and reviewed their comics with advanced copies. I have her interview on our channel. Why? Right? Again, clowns the left, argues like them. While we're on the subject, you wanted an apology from Tug. No, I didn't. Don't want an apology. He openly apologized to me, and it was a half-assed apology. Don't want an apology from anybody. For accusing you of something you didn't do, and apparently got booty tickled, he said not nice stuff in DMs. Did you ever apologize for the shit-talking you did, or was that a secret I was supposed to be keeping? I openly said it on your channel. April 9th, 2020. May 11th, 2019 is when the interview was done. I openly said it on your channel. It was a public video. It's still live as we speak. Fuck you. I don't have to apologize for shit. I don't owe anybody an apology. They can kiss my ass. The fuck are you preaching more apologies now? Again, clowns the left, argues like them. Let me know when to stop humiliating myself by pointing out what a hypocritical two-faced shit disturber you are as you cry for Dami to give you dirt on people. These are Sushi's words. Sushi claims that Dominique harassed her, that Dominique is responsible, inherently responsible for her being blacklisted, losing shows, receiving death threats and threats of violence from people of color. Those are Sushi's words, you cocksucker. What exactly am I lying about? These are her words. And this is a good example of, again, clowns the left, argues like them. He appeals to emotion immediately. Doesn't really have an argument. Brings up a bunch of irrelevant points. Nothing to do with anything. And yet, by his logic here, he knows the kind of trash people that Hero and Tug are, and here he is sucking them off daily for attention. What does that say about you? You are who you hang out with, yes? Which is the whole premise, my whole premise of Sushi, that she's not the professional she claims to be if she has a one-man company who hasn't produced shit in over 10 years to sponsor her show. You're not a professional if you do that. He got upset and tried to drag my girl into it because she did an interview with Fantasy Soft that was posted in July, but the actual interview was done in May. And the irony in that, and the beautiful thing about irony is that it's the discussion of what appears to be we're discussing, and that's what we're going over here. We're discussing what appears to be the case, right? Versus the actual reality of the case. Because things aren't always what they seem. Sushi appears to be a professional. Sushi appears to pass herself off as someone who gets con bookings and gets people booked for shows. But the reality is that she's not a professional if she's allowing someone like that to sponsor her show. It doesn't matter if she knew whether or not he was scamming people. The point is, you've known him for a year. Bae knew him for a month before she interviewed him. Barely a month before she interviewed him. Sushi knew him for a fucking year. And because nobody actually gives a shit about her or any show that she's involved in, nobody else wanted to sponsor the show, she let some nobody, one-man company who was stealing people's money, and it doesn't matter if she didn't know at the time. The point is, he is not credible. You don't vet check the people who sponsor your shows? Are you serious? Who's in charge? Who the fuck is in charge? That's the point, you moron. I wouldn't expect you to know that. Because, you hang around with Sushi, and Sushi knows more than me about hosting shows and booking conventions and stuff like that, right? She has more... she knows more than me. Who are you kidding? Come on, dude. Anyway. Crow's silly, essentially. LMA, you're silly. Now he's pretty adamant here. No, Emish, let's use your logic. So, he's claiming to use my logic, but ends up not using my logic. Because he doesn't understand what logic is. He doesn't know what logic is. Because so far, he's shown that. He's shown that he doesn't understand the concept of logic. Because we cannot generalize all of I stand with Vic, and I'm a part of it, right? She calls you dishonest, I think you're dishonest, ergo, it's a stupid argument, but these seem to be your forte lately. No, ergo what? Finish the argument, Crow. Finish it. Ergo what? Ergo I'm dishonest? Prove it. Prove it. Why does me talking to Dominique Sky make me dishonest? Why? Prove that. Finish the argument. And I said, host a live stream and let's talk about it. It's been a while since we've done a video together. This is the 4th or 5th time you've tried to argue something only to end up looking silly. This is not an argument at all. He's not using my logic. I never claimed ever to never believe anything Dominique Sky says. All I did was disprove her experience with me specifically. Not her experience with I Stand With Vic, because people have actually doxed her. This is true. People have actually done some of the things she's claimed. Right? She blamed it on me, though. Over time, she started blaming it on me. Because I was the one hammering her. But you guys loved it. You guys didn't care when I was getting accused of being doxing from the opposition. Right? Because I was hammering her for it. If anybody on the opposition accuses me of something bad, come on, Stand With Vic, let's rally up and get him. But when I accuse you of doing it, and I provide evidence, and I provide context, right, to prove that, it's an issue. But a year ago, I was 100% right for doing the same thing I'm doing now. But now that you're on the receiving end of it, you don't like it. And for Christ's sake, grow your fucking beard out, dude. Please, fix this. It's a shit show. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, really. Alright, let's continue. This is where Sushi cries to Dominique about not working with me. Right, we covered this a couple days ago. Hopefully, if anything, she's smart to also see how shady this skeet is. You idiot, she's dealt with me for a year. She's dealt with me hammering her ass for a year. An entire year. Of course she knows how I am. Of course she knows how I'm going to address you specifically. And I'm almost positive she is really smug right now. It's because she knows how I am that she knows you are in some shit. Of course. Especially after... Now here's the thing. You know what's hilarious? Now, Gothic Sushi is Milady. Right? This is the White Knight here. Defending her. And now, out of convenience, again, out of convenience, they're actually criticizing me for going at Dominique Sky. Look at this. Especially after constantly going at her and posting drama videos for all of us to attack her with. You stupid bitch. That's how you came into this movement. How stupid can you honestly be? She should not allow to be left unsupervised by a keyboard. She should not be allowed to do that. Dom, be careful working with him. He's directly involved with Kiwis as well. So are you. Your username on Kiwi Farms is Kitten Pop Tart. And he might be out there, and he might be out here doxing. Kid shady. That's why no one wanted to work with him anymore. And he can only get Senadine. No, this is not true. This is not true. I can get Flash on a video tomorrow. I can get Nick on a video tomorrow. And it's not just there. I can Listen. You have no idea who you're talking to. Or talking about, for that matter. You have no clue. The Cool Kids Club. And this fat fuck Joker plays here. Simp. Your whole clique is shady. And he says this behind a block, by the way. I'm going to completely ignore this. Let's just address what Sushi says here. Right? Exactly. Like, isn't it funny how people are upset because they are no longer allowed in the Cool Kids Club? What Cool Kids Club? It's just like 5 of you. It's just like 5 of you. It's legit only 5 of you, and the only person who gets to jump on a stream with Flash and Nick and Tug is you, not the simps here. They get the scraps. They get to jump on Sushi's stream, but they don't get to jump on Tug and Flash and Nick's stream. They don't get to do that. They haven't simped hard enough yet. They haven't earned enough simp points yet. Only Sushi gets to do that. Milady, Queen Bee gets to do that. What a joke. Now we're going to talk about the concept of irony, right? Which is my argument. I'm making an argument based that's based on irony, not an argument out of coincidence. It's not an coincidence leads more towards conspiracy. I wasn't speculating a conspiracy to suggest that Sushi was directly involved with scamming people by allowing FantasySoft to sponsor her show, even though we recently exposed them as lying to people and scamming people, right? Primarily about Vic Mignogna, right? So the difference between what appears to be the case and what the reality of the case is. We went over that a little bit before, but again, there's a reason I kind of let you guys simmer in the pot so that way we can actually go over it in depth. Okay? This is the tweet that has Crow foaming at the mouth. This is the tweet that has Crow foaming at the mouth. Now, this is FantasySoft Entertainment, April 7th, after I warned them to stop lying, after they were told by Vic's PR team to stop lying, to stop saying that he has direct affiliation with Vic Mignogna, because that is not the case. And he backpedals and says this, concerning Vic, he loves Prince Adventures. No, he does not. He knows nothing about it. And Nye knows nothing about the character. He's eager to work on the series. No, he is not. But things have to progress more before he comes out and says, hey, this is the next project that I'm in. So why are you telling people for the past year that he's involved in the project? You pile of trash. Understandable. He continues to cheer us on. He's excited and we are too. He's not excited. He does not. He can care less. Stop it. Stop lying to people. He had just finished speaking to Vic and his team when this was posted. He continues to lie. Continues to lie. And I know this for a fact. Alright? I know this for a fact. And they know that I know this for a fact. Alright? So, I link this, and I make an argument out of irony. Not out of coincidence. Irony. If I said also, isn't it a coincidence how FantasySoft gets exposed for lying to fans for money, and yet they help sponsor a con you bragged about booking? Then I'd be suggesting or insinuating some sort of illicit behavior. I said it's ironic, because what appears to be the case is this right here. I don't have to prove friendships. This is Gothic Sushi. And this is Monica Rial right here. Right? Kayla is Gothic's BFF, but not really. She just hangs around because nobody else wants her around. So never forget that at Gothic Sushi has not only had Vic as a guest at the con she runs, but puts in very good words for him at other conventions. What can others say that they have done? Probably not as much as she has. And, you know, she loves it. Queen Bee, Milady loves it. She loves it. March 8th. I don't have to prove friendships. I ain't no fangirl. Should we play? I don't have to prove friendships. I ain't no fangirl.
You remember me when I was a pirate at the bar?
Yes, I did. You know, somebody said on
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have to prove friendships. No, I don't have to prove friendships. I never have. Don't brag about what I do for the guy. Don't do it. I don't do it. Right? So this is the person flaunting and touting and kind of strutting her stuff, you know, the peacock. Strutting her stuff to show what she's done. I get people booked, and the people I liked booked. Bet you see Vic and Savannah in June and Chuck for my birthday with a Star Trek theme. But go on with your lies. Yeah, Vic and Chuck. I'm sure Vic and Chuck can't wait to come to your birthday party. They're coming just for you. They're coming just for you. They're coming just for you, I'm sure. Let's keep going. Oh, and then here, Susie suggests that it's my fault for not telling her about Fantasy Soft before she allowed him to sponsor the show. She responds to me. Yeah, for the amazing show. Where was all this truth you had about Fantasy Soft back in February? Could have been helpful when we were approached and asked by a few people to bring Fantasy Soft Entertainment in as a guest. Yeah, see, there's a substantial difference between bringing someone in as a guest versus having them sponsor your event. You silly person. There's a big difference. He was not only a guest, he sponsored the event with money that wasn't entirely his. Couldn't even afford to pay his artist because he had unexpected bills at the con. He had bills at the con. Money that was supposed to go towards paying his staff, which doesn't exist, by the way. He only had one person on staff. That was an artist. And he didn't pay her for that month because he had unexpected bills at the convention that he was at early February 2nd, at the time he sent that message, I believe, and it was at Gothic Sushi's convention. Now, again, I'm making an argument out of irony. I'm in no way, shape, or form suggesting that Sushi was complacent or had anything to do with Fantasy Soft, you know, scamming people, but it's to showcase that this here, her flexing, does not add up with her allowing someone like a Fantasy Soft with a Kenneth Bright Jr. to sponsor your show. That's all. That's all the argument is. That's all it ever was. Alright, this stuff is irrelevant. Tell the fucking truth. I am. You were legit in the farm of doxing people. Blah, 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 blah. She's mad. So what's been going on for months? Psst, I think you mixed your point. Fuck off, clown face. Alright. Let's keep going. Next argument. This is where Crow kind of inserts himself. We're not really gonna... I guess we could cover this. Because again, he tries to retweet for a signal boost. It doesn't really work. Are people mad about Vic getting booked at cons now? Again, the spin. The spin. You spin cotton candy, right? When you make cotton candy, you spin it, right? Memory serves a number of people reached out to get him in cons because other cons canceled him. Like, I'm not 100% on what's going on with Fantasy Soft, but just because people associated with them, they're being blamed? In plain English, having scammers sponsor conventions you book and flaunt and taunt on social media isn't a good look. I'm not blaming her for Fantasy Soft Entertainment being a piece of trash. That's his own fault. Again, see? So we went over this. I'm not blaming her. The general idea is that you are who you associate yourself with, to an extent. And they were supposed to know that? No one told them at the time. This just came out. So here we go. Kayla admits here that this just came out, but just a second ago, Sushi was blaming me for not telling her about it in February, and at the same time telling everybody and their mother that I'm shady, untrustworthy, dishonest, that I'm doxing people. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you an explanation. The fuck? You've known them for a year. How could you not ask yourself, wait a minute, this guy hasn't actually done jack shit. Why would I let someone like this sponsor my show? It wouldn't be a good look. No professional, no industry professional would do that. None. Again, all this stuff, Crow being a moron. Again, only his friends laugh at it. Nobody else gives a shit. It's irrelevant stuff. And I highlighted it here. I see. Here's the beauty. Here's the beauty here. Here's the beauty. I highlighted this for a reason. I'm not blaming her for Fantasy Soft Entertainment being a piece of trash. That's his own fault. And his direct response is, in plain English, if she associated with them when she thought they were a good company, then that's normal. Everyone in I Stand With Vic thought Fantasy Soft Entertainment was chill and working with Vic and supporting the dude. Last night they got busted and today you're dragging someone for a months-old contract? No, I'm not doing that. Why can't you read? Why are you so stupid? Why is your face so stupid? Why? I'm not blaming her for Fantasy Soft Entertainment being a piece of trash. That's his own fault. So how do you just blatantly respond like that? Clowns to left argues like them. Clowns Democrats argues like them. Stop speaking for everyone. I've given you chances already. We should just skip this stuff. You guys can see it. You guys can come back for timestamps. I don't want to drag this stream on any longer, right? But again, and they were supposed to know that. Again, see, look, they're both going with this. Sushi responds to, where were you in February? Crow responds, you're dragging Sushi for associating with Fantasy Soft when they just got busted. Kayla, same thing. I just said it. I just said I'm not blaming her for that. I'm saying it's ironic how she claims to be a professional to get people booked and run shows, and she doesn't know basic con booking, con hosting, con running etiquette. It doesn't matter if people asked you. How many people asked you to bring Fantasy Soft? Give me numbers. Anyone that runs a show has to have numbers. You have analytics, you have numbers. How many people asked you? Approximately. How many people asked you? 5? 10? And if only 5 to 10 people asked you, that's also indicative of the amount of people that actually came to your show. You're not a professional. And you don't know who the hell you're fucking talking to. Now here's the thing. Last year, Fantasy Soft wanted to reach out to Kamehacon about having a panel at Kamehacon. I said I would spread the word, meaning I would let them know. That was last year. Last year. A year ago. Not 2019, meaning when Kamehacon happened. I mean, like, it was early. Before Kamehacon Year 2. Way before Kamehacon Year 2. Like, before Kamehacon Year 2. It's not inherently the same thing. It's just me saying, hey, these people are trying to reach out to you. Check them out. And that's exactly what I told Christopher Slatosh, who's the owner of Kamehacon. I said, hey, these guys Fantasy Soft wants to reach out to you. So just check them out, DM him, and see what they're about. That's it. I didn't push for Fantasy Soft. I didn't say, hey man, yeah, they're working with it. I didn't do that. Nope. Did not do it. All I did was pass the word on. Exactly, John. No professional would just allow some random one dude who hasn't produced shit in 10 years to sponsor their event. That's all you could pull, Fantasy Soft? Are you serious? That's all you could get? Anyway, let's proceed, right? So far, again, I've said it. I'm not blaming her for this. It's not her fault. It's just funny. It's ironic because what appears to be the case is she's a professional. She books shows. She runs shows, right? She gets people booked. Bet you see Vic there for my birthday. But the reality is that she's not a professional. That's what happens when you talk about things that are ironic. I mean, there's other definitions for it, right? But when you take a deeper look into it, essentially it's, we talk about the appearance of something and the reality of something. Right? So, again, continues to spin after I already said it's not her fault. They're all stuck on this. All right, so continues to spin, argues something I'm not. But sure, let's keep our minds on association at the time of thought. Now, this is Crow's argument, correct? Right? If she associated with her when she thought they were a good company, then that's normal. That's his argument. He is grandstanding that. He asserts that as a fact. He says that. April 7th. But for a year, he's known Tug and Hero and all these other people have trashed me, right? And I've been good to them. But because we're on opposite sides now, because he has to simp for his lady, right? He's going to be completely dishonest about that stance. Clowns the Democrats, argues like them. But let's hold on to that. Association at the time of thought is okay, is what should be factored in, which is essentially Crow's argument. That's his argument. All right? Association at the time of thought. Everyone is as hyperbole. It really isn't. You're dragging her for working with Fantasy Soft when they just got exposed last night. Again, he continues to say, you're dragging it. How many times do I have to repeat myself? Dishonesty. Lying. This is why I don't like going back and forth in chat sometimes. Like, I don't like this text shit. I mean, it's plain English. We all speak the same language here. But for some reason, we have a hard time understanding it. You know? And trying to imply some sort of illicit relationship between the two now. Guilt by association. You're a smart dude. You know what that is. I'm not. Stop trying to assert that that's what I'm doing when it's not. I never made an argument that was based off of coincidence. I made an argument that was based off of irony. And I doubled on it by saying, well, I'm not blaming her for that. That's not her fault. That's his fault for being a piece of shit. And I tell him, April 7th, at the time of when they sponsored the show, late January, early February. Last day of January, first couple days of February. So at that time, people had concerns with Fantasy Soft. It was well established. It was well known. And that's my argument. No, this is stuff everyone knew about, in quotations. You guys are selective when it comes to deciding what is new and what isn't. It's easy to not bat an eye out of convenience. Example, you and Aura knew about me getting snaked, and here you are testing your gag reflex on Tug and EVS. On the record, and I mention it again because for some reason he doesn't know how to read. On record, I'm not saying Sushi has something to do with scamming people. I'm saying she's a moron and isn't the professional she claims to be. Alright? Now, this is a good example of dishonesty. This is a good example of, it's painfully obvious that they're all on Discord right now or something like that, talking about how they have a gotcha on me. Right? They're rooting Andrew on. They're rooting Crow on. Go get him, Crow. You're the only one that can do it. And Sushi's just back there, letting him make an ass out of himself. Because that's what good friends do. Yeah, she's a total moron. Also, and this, he shares a screenshot of my girl, Dragon Bayz's interview with Fantasy Soft. Right? He doesn't show everything. He just shows the publication. Right? Now, we'll go over this in just a second. But this is the kind of person we're dealing with. Stupid face, ergo, stupid arguments. Stupid mouth. Clowns the left, clowns Democrats, argues like them. This isn't the gotcha that he thinks it is. So I ask him, so are you forfeiting your argument? See, because now what he's trying to do is say that, okay, well, he'll accept that Sushi's a moron, but only if I accept that Dragon Bay is a moron. Except, this is an interview published on July, recorded in May. A very short time after she knew them. Recorded in May, and I have the receipts to back that up. Got the text messages. Okay? And a year ago. Sushi's known them for a year and lets a random nobody sponsor her show. Big difference. It's not the same. It's not the gotcha that you think it is. It's not. Because this was a year ago. They just got busted last night. According to him. He admits that they just got busted last night. But then just previously, they were all suggesting that I knew about Fantasy Soft this whole time. So we're starting to see a pattern here. And I'm going to repeat myself, broken record. Clowns Democrats, but argues like them. So I ask him, are you forfeiting your argument? Because now what this does is, if he says this, he's no longer holding on to this argument, which is association at the time of thought is what should be factored in. Those are his words. Those are his words. If she associated with them when she thought they were a good company, then that's normal. Okay. She thought they were a good company. That's normal. You forfeit. Concede. That's another L. I mean, we've handed out multiple L's already. I've lost count. I haven't even been counting. Hopefully you guys have. And if not, that's okay. But you concede. You concede. Immediately. Now just wondering what that view is like in that glass house. Irrelevant points. Fluff punchlines. Don't mean anything. There's no oomph to this whatsoever. And then I tell him, you're being inconsistent with your argument. You argued association under thought is dismissible. Now you're arguing against it as a gotcha, which means a forfeit. I've been on your channel too. What's your point outside of dishonesty? Right? So okay, so now he forfeits the association at the time of thought. Association at the time of thought. He argued it, then he forfeits it, and shows Dragon Bay's interview with them. Right? Couch, Crows, Rock the Dragon, Bay Z. Couch Crows episode 4, Crow of Judgment, his channel.
I didn't even think.
They interview her. And what do we have here? Please consider supporting Fantasy Soft Entertainment, a company that has long been in support of Vic Mignogna and one dedicated to the fans with their Patreon. Hold this L. Dishonest, clowns the left, but he argues like them. Clowns the left, but he argues like them. Pile of trash. He would get chewed up on a live stream and embarrassed. Right? Who's Fantasy Soft? Appearance versus reality. The appearance is that he's trying to go off the appearance of, oh, now I admit Dragon Bay is a moron. No, I would never do that. I wouldn't do that. Because that's not my argument. I'm saying Sushi is a moron because she isn't the professional she claims to be. Dragon Bay doesn't work conventions. She actually gets Vic booked to conventions. She was well known for doing this in the beginning. And they know this. And they actually reference it too. Right? They talk about that in the interview. That she's one of the most important and prominent figureheads when it comes to the Stand with Vic stuff. And here they are a year later bashing her out of convenience. Right? So that's my point. Clowns the left, argues like them. Appearance versus reality. Appearance, reality. And it's exactly why I opened up this stream, giving you guys some backstory, and then we went to my interview with them. Now, can anyone in chat tell me that I have not been consistent with the way I was a year ago versus now, based on what you've heard so far? If you have, let me know. It's fine. Exactly, Chambers. But because they don't really have influence in this field. You know, they don't really have influence in this field. They never will, they never have. They cling to Sushi because they think Sushi has pull. I mean, let's be realistic here. You know, so that's that. All right? I already showed this to you guys, the interview. Right? Appearance, all appearance, reality. Reality. Continuation for where we left off, showing Crow's lack of honesty. Here we go. He continues to harp on then he goes back. So I ask him, is he forfeiting his argument? And I tell him how he's being inconsistent. And then now he's claiming that this is my argument. And he continues to say, he says, he now makes the claim that this is my argument. And then on top of that, he says that I'm dragging someone for an associates with FSC. I've said it multiple times. No, I'm not. I've said it multiple times that it's not Sushi's fault. And he continues to say this. Dishonest, lying sack of garbage, stupid face, stupid mouth, stupid words, stupid arguments, clowns the left, argues like them. I'm pointing to another one. Well, hey, if I'm stupid and Sushi's stupid, then your girlfriend's stupid too. Haha, gotcha. See, he can't approach me directly. He can't argue against me directly. So he has to look at whoever's behind me to do it. You're saying you knew they were fishy. Where did I say that? When did I say that? When did I make that claim? And it's your girl who was promoting them. Yeah, a year ago. A year ago. I don't think either should be dragged, but if you want to drag one, you have to do both. No, I don't. Dragon Bay didn't have Fantasy Soft Entertainment sponsor a convention. And I'll tell you right now. Let me give you guys a fun fact. Now I'm going to flex on you a little bit. I'll flex on you a little bit. Fun fact here. After Kamehacon, I was offered to host and run a tour for Vic. A tour where we would go to multiple states and have small signings just like the one we did in New York. Only reason that didn't follow through is because, at the time, Vic wanted to see, his focus was trying to get into big conventions. A tour. Expenses paid. Nothing comes out of my pocket. We go. I make sure Vic is safe. I make sure everything is stable. Vic brings his team, likely Squally, the Rangers and so on and so forth, to handle his money. Now, the only reason we didn't do that is because Vic wanted to see what the rest of the year will hold for him. The focus was trying to get into conventions to kind of deter or water down the idea that cons don't want to actually bring Vic, when that isn't really the case. It's not really the case at all. And that's a fact. And it wouldn't have been the Rangers hosting it. It would have been someone else. So, this is why I'm saying where you guys think you know what you're talking about when it comes to running shit, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Because guess what? For a tour, we don't really need a sponsor. Don't need a sponsor for it. We work with small bookshops like the one where he pulled 700 people in a parking lot. We work with people like that, bring people to their doorstep. A portion of it can go back to charity, goodwill, things of that nature. Vic gets paid. I get paid. No middlemen. No stupid sponsor. No relying on a sponsor to make sure that this ship is running afloat. No. If Sushi had the pull that she claims to, she'd get something like that done. She'd offer Vic something like that. She'd offer the Rangers something like that. But she doesn't have it. That's a fact. Lemish, you need receipts to prove that. Well, again, that's a fact statement. I've spoken to Squally about this. I've mentioned it to her, spoken to Vic's mom about this, spoken to Vic directly about this, and spoken to the person who would have been in charge while I actually go on tour and travel to multiple states to get these shows done for him. So let's finish up what he's saying here. You consider it a forfeit of my argument because I pointed out your own doesn't actually hold water? Where'd you point that out? Dude, chill out. Being cooped up inside is rotting that intellectual debating skills you were once so proud of. Still proud of it. Still proud of it. And this was my response to him. He keeps saying that I'm dragging Sushi. So I respond and I say, well, concede, Crow. You aren't good at this and never were. I'm not blaming her for FSE being a piece of trash. That's his own fault. right? On the record, I'm not saying Sushi has something to do with scamming people. I'm saying she's a moron and isn't the professional she claims to be. I tell them to concede. You aren't good at this, never were. And it's true. I think we've seen that. I think we've seen that so far. This is just miscellaneous garbage. You know? Yeah, he tried to stir up shit with Flash and asking me, remember about the apology? If I ever apologized for trashing people? And I said, I've told Doug directly. If I wanted to stir shit up, I could have. I've told that to him directly in his DMs. He knows this. Lol. And this is a public thread, by the way. They can fact check it if they want. Did they bother? Probably not. They probably didn't bother to fact check it. They didn't expect for me to be this confident. You guys mentioned Flash because it's convenient. I've told them things straight up too. This isn't going to work. If you think it is, then we can do it live. Let me know when you're available. What's convenient, sir? You said this shit. You talked trash about people and declared yourself as the only honest person and said that's why nobody liked you or trusted you. And it's clearly why you don't like me right now. Clowns the left. Clowns the Democrats. Argues like them. It seems to be getting under your skin, given you haven't shut up about us for days. So this is his way of just saying, please leave me alone. Stop pounding my ass. That's Sushi's job. And Chrono understand English. And now he claims I haven't proven anything I accuse Sushi of. This was before a lot of the actual proof came out. But it's by her own words. It's her own admission. It's her own admission. She says that she left the group because of me. She didn't want to work with me. The Kiwi group, right? With the Kiwis. You haven't proven anything you accuse Sushi of. And you just call me a liar without evidence. You're blatantly lying. Anyone can go back to your stupid threads and your stupid responses and see that you're about as... I don't know. You're about as stable as... Fucking Christ. I can't even give it... It's that bad. You're about as stable as Sushi. There you go. That's a good example. Nah, bro. You told me they don't trust you, and you don't trust them, and they are shady, and I shouldn't trust them either. And you were the only honest guy. Bullshit. Also, nope. Yeah, okay. Let's just say I said that. Yeah, sure. I did say Tug is... I didn't say he's shady. I said he has a tendency to kind of, not be honest and be disingenuous. Same thing for Hero. And you guys should be careful. That's the truth. That applies to anyone who hasn't earned your actual trust otherwise. So I respond. This is irrelevant. I'm not going to respond to this bottom half. It's just filler fluff shit. And I think people have this bad... they have a poor understanding of stuff where they think just because I don't respond to this, it means that they got me, that I'm avoiding it because that's my weakness. No, I don't have to. I am in no way obligated in any way, shape, or form to address an irrelevant point. Don't have to do it. There is no burden on me. There's no burden placed on me for that. Let's address this, though. Sushi says I'm a part of the farms group she left because of me. Admission of also being part of the farms group. She said she left because she didn't want to work with me, the same group. When you work with a farms group, what does that usually mean? You're so bad at this. I'm at a loss for words at this point. But one more bathroom break real quick, guys. All right. So, yeah, it's not hard to understand this, right? I don't think it's difficult to understand or comprehend that. It's basic English. But anyway, that's essentially this guy. You know, it is what it is. So that's gonna be it as far as like going over everything that's transpired between me and Crow. Again, Emish, why are you giving him attention? Why are you covering him? You know, it's I would do the same for most, if not anyone. You know, someone goes at you like that, you gotta go back. I think it's okay. You know, I try not to back down. Right? It really depends on what kind of argument you're making. Because he comes in, I think he thinks he came in strong, right? He thinks he had a really good argument here. He was really, so he stepped up to the plate. I said, okay, let's do it. Let's have fun. Let's play. Gallon game. Let's play. And then he just makes himself look stupid. Right? And I get some people might say, oh, well, Emish is spinning this too. Well, no, this is like the entire chat log for the most part. Go to my Twitter. You can check it out yourself. Tweets and replies. You know, tweets and replies. It's all going to be there. You know, it's all going to be there. So I'm not really hiding anything. Don't really have anything to gain or lose by doing this. I have said before, if anything, me addressing sushi hurts my credibility. Right? But since no one has, I figured, you know, I mean, DA has been lately, you know, but, yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's also a problem, DA. Like, people who know that that's your brother, it's an argument that he uses a lot. That's my little brother. He's mad because someone forgot his birthday. You know, and I'm sure it goes much deeper than that. And nothing that happened between you and your brother, or you and him, none of that correlates to me. And that's the beauty. That's the beautiful part about this. They like to suggest and deter you away, and deter people from you know, processing basic English. Guys, don't worry about what Emish is saying. It's irrelevant. He's just, you know, Dean has just gathered a bunch of people to kind of rally against us because he's just mad that we forgot his birthday. And a bunch of other random shit. He's a cokehead and all this other junk. All that stuff has nothing to do with me. I'm addressing you for my own reasons. And I think I made those reasons clear. So, if anybody has any questions in the chat, you know, I'll answer them now. And, yeah, we can get this, we can wrap up the stream otherwise. Again, this stream will be archived onto the channel, so people are more than welcome to play it back if they choose to do so. And I appreciate you guys for sticking around, if you have, from the start to finish. And for those who are watching this video in the future, hopefully, I appreciate that as well. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, by all means, you know, primarily about the topic, I guess, about the topic at hand, preferably. But will I do another stream? It depends. It depends what developments take place. I find it rather disappointing for Crow to suggest that, you know, he's gonna do an expose video and not want to do one where both me and him are on an actual live stream chat, where he doesn't have time to script things and spin things, where he has to think on his feet. I think that's kind of disappointing, you know. So I think that much is unfortunate for sure. If he does do one, I'll react to it live for sure. And I'll hammer him some more. And if he doesn't do one, that's fine. I just really want them to understand that my involvement in this is not because of Dean. It's not inherently because of DA talks or because of Senpai. It's just because I flat out genuinely do not like any of you. You're all piles of trash who lie. You spin things. You know? It's disgusting, really. It's disingenuous to suggest that. Right? And even if you want to suggest that, ultimately what it comes down to is you have to disprove what I'm saying. You have to argue against me. You can't tell people that Emish is fighting for Dean because we embarrassed Dean, or we embarrassed DA, or we forgot his birthday. That's not an argument to make. That is not in any way, shape, or form of an argument to make at all. So, that's essentially what it comes down to. Victor, I'm doing good, man. My throat's a little tired. It's again, I haven't streamed like this in a long time. So, when I used to stream, it would be like an hour and a half tops. Now I'm doing like 2-3 hour streams. Like, I'm not used to this at all. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. But yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it, Rahan. Was it? Oh, Rahat, sorry. Rahat Chaudhry. Whether you think I'm telling the truth or lying, it's fine. I've made my case. You can believe me, not believe me, or you can just leave it alone, not give a shit like most people. You know? That's your choice. And unfortunately, it's also your choice if you decide to go back and say, well, Emish lied the entire video. You can say that too. Do I think I'm Nick or something with these long streams? No. No. I don't think I'm Nick. I think me and Nick are two different people. Ironic for Sushi to say that Sky has a fake ass while she is tweeting that she wants fake boobs. I finished the sentence for you. Yeah, Emish lied, Crow cells died. No. Crow lied, cells died. Crow lied, brain cells died. How about that one? My New York just popped out? Damn. Not enough alcohol is screaming. Yeah, I don't drink at all. I've never even sipped a smidge of alcohol. Not even. Don't smoke, don't drink. I'm clean. Not interested in either. The only thing I chug down is sources of caffeine, but good sources of caffeine, like actual caffeine, not like trashy sources of caffeine. Again, whether you respect me, it's fine. Whether you respect me or not, it's fine. I just kind of want to get my case out there. That's all. Because the more bullshit that comes out of that clique, the more I'll hammer them. I have time nowadays anyway. I have time nowadays. I'll be leaving New York soon, actually. I won't be here much longer. The COVID-19 stuff has me stranded here for the most part, but I won't be here much longer. I gotta get away from this city bullshit. Have I tried the... I don't like coffee. I do not like coffee. I hate coffee. I'm more of a tea guy. Who are we working on taking down together next? That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't really, I don't know. I haven't really, I haven't had much opposition, really, you know. But I guess to go with the joke, Heroes next. Let's go with the joke. Heroes next for sure. Heroes totally next. I'm just joking. I can care less about him. He's doing his thing, it's fine. I can care less. I hope I'm not lost in the cause. I have done nothing wrong. Hopefully not. Oh, tell Halusa I said what's up. I miss him, man. I hope everything is okay over there. Wouldn't take much to take him out, though. That's true. That is true. He's not very good at arguing either. But that's okay. It's why I'm not fond of these, you know, like selective videos, especially when they cover topics like this. It's, you know, you can tell a lot about a person based on how they portray you, how they represent you, right? If they're being honest when they represent you, if they purposely misrepresent you just to get a gotcha, just to win, you know, at that point you kind of really, you can tell what kind of person you're dealing with, really. Okay, then I'll I believe I have his number. I'll message him myself then. Biden is terrible. Biden is terrible. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys stopping by. I really do. Don't really care, you know, how many clicks or whatever this stuff gets. It's part of history. It's archived. It's done. I said my piece, you know, and like I said, the offers. I guess I can't. I should probably stop saying that the offer's still open. I don't have much interest in actually jumping in a voice chat with these people. I really don't. It's just a fucking headache. But we'll see. Depending on what happens in the upcoming days or weeks or whatever, that'll be the deciding factor for sure. But yeah, I mean, just stop thinking that everything I do is for you. And I think people have gotten entitled and spoiled to suggest that, you know, every time I say something, that they're the ones trying to moral play me and suggesting that, well, Emish, don't you realize how this is bad for Stand With Vic? Kick Vic has ammo on us now. No, that's your fault. That's not my fault. Kick Vic doesn't have ammo on me. Kick Vic has ammo on you. Alright, don't get it twisted. I don't owe you anything. I'm simply telling it like it is. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's okay. You know, it's totally fine. I'm not forcing you to believe anything I'm saying, but you gotta understand that nothing I do is inherently about a hashtag. All hashtags do is signal boost, and that's it. Nothing more. But anyways, guys, yeah, with that out of the way, thank you guys for watching. Until next time. Don't really know when the next time I'm gonna stream, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But thank you guys again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Share the video. You know, share it. Anytime they say some stupid shit, just share this, I guess. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Good night, guys.